I don't have a song prepared for this week, so this is what you get.
Buzz Pucks.
Welcome to BuzzBucks. I'm Bert,
I'm Clay.
and we're here
Week 24.
to talk about week 24. Just 2 weeks left? Under 10 games, I think, for everybody.
Yes.
Um,
3 weeks.
So
3 weeks.
2.5, 3 weeks, something like that. I forget when the actual last day of the schedule.
15th. I
The
believe.
15th? Okay. That sounds right. That's usually a normal year. That's usually where it ends. So yeah, we're getting there. We're almost to playoff times. It's crazy.
But we're talking about March 20th through 26th.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
And races are both heating up and slowing down.
Yeah. I think we talked about the closeness of both wild cards last week, and they didn't really change too much.
Yeah, a little bit. I have some stuff.
Okay. I don't think the East has really changed at all.
No.
The Islanders and Penguins still own the
Spot.
2 spots, with Florida being, I think, the only team close enough to catch. Ottawa is kind of close, but
It's possible, but it's not likely. That's what it is.
yeah. But before we get into any of it, what do we drink, Clay?
We are drinking Flying Dog again because I love them.
It's good. They're good beer.
We're drinking Cream Team.
Cream Team.
We've had this last year, but it's their cookies and cream milk stout.
That's very good.
It's so yummy. I don't even care that it's
9.5%. It's one of those beers that's like
their
you
seasonal.
drink like 4 of them, and you're like, why am I so drunk? Like,
Oh no.
that's why I'm so drunk. Well, I'm gonna adjust my mic just a second there. There we go. Okay.
Yeah. It's yummy. It tastes like cookies and cream stout,
It does, yeah. Yeah.
and I love them.
They're good.
They don't sponsor us, but I want them to.
Hey, we're open to any sponsorships. If you would like to, if you know anybody that wants to sponsor a podcast, we would love to take their money, even if it's like $50. I don't care, depending on what it is. I do care depending on what it is.
I'll show gold.
Yeah, okay. Gold doesn't really hurt that many people. I'm talking like I don't want to like say anything positive about like Rumble or something like that.
I mean, if we got the Koch brothers,
If they want to give us like millions of dollars, then sure, I will.
Yeah, all right.
But like then in private, I'll be like, man, I fucking hate them.
yeah, but
But that's not what this podcast is. This isn't political talk with Bert and Clay, which would, I think,
turn off a lot of people.
turn off. We don't have that many people listening. Might turn off some of you.
Yeah.
But I believe you're starting this week.
Yes.
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 All right.
I am
me.
starting this week. Speaking of the East, that's where we're starting.
Oh, me too.
I'm going to preface this by saying when we get to Detroit, I done goofed.
Uh-oh.
I goofed a little bit more this week than I normally do.
You know what? Will it make you feel better? I goofed a little bit too, actually.
For Detroit, I goofed hard.
Oh,
I
okay.
can bring it back, but it's going to take me a second.
There
and
was,
I'm
like-
sorry.
There was like 4 teams where I just left one of their games off of my notes until today when I noticed. I was like, wait a minute, those teams did play a 4th game this week. Why don't I have that written down? It's brain fart. We're getting old.
Yeah,
We're getting
it
old.
happens. All right,
You're planning a wedding.
starting off.
Well,
against
you aren't, but
Boston.
You're tangentially.
I'm participating in the plan.
You're tangentially setting up a wedding.
Boston, 4-0.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, they're just
Whatever. Shut up, Boston.
57, 11-5.
First round exit.
That's 119 points.
Getting swept,
If they win 6 out of their last 9 games,
which is likely, honestly.
they set the record for regular season wins,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
It is crazy. What is the record? 60 something?
62.
62.
63
Did Tampa Bay just set
63.
it or tie it?
Tampa Bay tied it with the 95-96 Red
Right.
Wings.
Okay. Yeah.
Both got swept in the first round,
Harbingers.
and then won 2 back-to-back cups. But
Harbingers of destruction. And we all know who they're probably going to play in the first round.
the Florida Panthers.
Number 1 in your hearts, and number 8 in the East, the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Currently, yes. All right. They started off by playing a very close game to Ottawa. That's a 2-1 win. I believe they might have come from behind for that win. They were actually outshot by Ottawa 35-41. So it's not that big of a shot.
No,
it's not that big.
That's a lot of shots though between the two.
But Linus Ullmark saved 40 for 41. Very close game. Jake DeBrusk got the game winner off a really slick backhand from.
Shut up, Carr.
Shit. Oh man, who made the pass?
Bergeron. Krejci.
It wasn't.
Marchand.
Might have been Krejci. Might have been Mark. Jesus Christ.
It sounds like it's in my living room. My windows are open because my heat is hard to control, but that car sounds like it is in my living room.
I had a heat joke that I couldn't. I was trying to get a heat joke that I just couldn't put together, so I'm just giving up. I believe it was Krejci. It actually, Bergeron didn't know what was going on. It basically went through Bergeron right to DeBrusk.
Those are the best.
Oh man!
And then Bergeron could just be like, "Yeah, I meant to do that."
No. Like Bergeron didn't touch it at all. He thought he had missed the pass. The pass, but the pass was never to him in the first place. It was amazing.
4D chess.
But that was the backhand winner for Boston.
That's not even the best backhand this week, though.
Which one was the best?
Sidney Crosby's.
Pretty good.
Backhand snipe extraordinaire.
Then they moved on to beating Montreal.
Was that this week? That was this week.
I don't know. I watched one Pittsburgh game. Unhappy.
It almost made me very unhappy.
Oh, man. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
This was a lot of East-on-East violence this week.
Yeah, I think coming down to the end, weirdly, Pittsburgh played Colorado, but
a lot of
it's mostly inter-conference games at this point.
A lot of East on East, a lot of Pacific on Pacific for my week. After Montreal, after Ottawa, they beat Montreal 4-2 with Swayman in net. Bertuzzi had a goal and an assist. They were outshot by Montreal 31-21. Doesn't matter if you're playing good defense or have a good goalie right now.
Yeah.
They beat Tampa Bay 2-1. Garnet Hathaway got the game winner. So he's their top player. Ullmark saving 26 for 27. Gave up a shorthanded goal. I know.
Crumbling.
It was crazy. So first goal of this game was a power play by Bergeron. Second goal was a shorthanded goal. And then it was nothing until the third where Garnet Hathaway batted a rebound out of the air.
Of all people, it was Garnet Hathaway
exactly.
that scored the game-winning goal.
Out of the air.
Out of the air.
Off of Vasilevsky, and went straight up, and before Vasilevsky could react,
just
knocks it in.
The net,
and then they finished the week by beating Carolina in a shootout. Very close game.
Yeah, I was watching that game yesterday. They let Carolina back into it. If I remember correctly, they were up 3-1 going into the third.
Yes, they did.
In Carolina,
they did. The game. And both a weirdness with Martinook in front of the net. He was getting mugged by 3 players.
Yeah.
But also, Jeremy Swayman said, "Don't touch my drum set" as he's skating away. Freaking hilarious.
So stupid.
Yeah.
I really hate how much I like a lot of Boston's players. I really hate it.
So Martin Hook lost his stick in the blue crease and was kind of just trying to get it back, and he got pushed away once by Swayman because someone pushed Martin Hook into Swayman. Swayman pushed him back, and then 2 other guys started pushing Martin Hook, and he's just I just want my stick.
I just want my stick, you guys. And don't touch my drum set.
And they got a hot mic for Swayman saying, "That's my blue paint, baby. Don't touch my drum set."
That's one of those shit talks that you're like, what? If you don't know
He just watched Step Brothers.
Yeah, if you don't know what the reference is to, you got to be like, what are you talking about? You go back to your bench and be like, that guy's fucking crazy. He thinks he's playing the drums. I don't know what he's talking about. Because at this point, Step Brothers is a pretty old movie.
It's a decade.
So maybe some people might not know that reference,
right.
It's really funny.
All right, so overall special teams, they were 3 for 18.
It would have been better if Martinick was like, "I'm gonna put my balls on your drum set." That would have I would have died if I heard that.
Don't you dare teabag my drum set.
I'm gonna do it.
3 for 18 on the power play, so that's not great.
It's not super. Nah, it's not that. Oh.
Adjusted was 2 for 18. So how about that?
Terrible.
How about that? And then 11 for 16 on the penalty kill. So that's, I swear to Christ, it's not the best.
It's not. It's children running around out there too.
But their top player this week is Pasternak. He had 3 goals and 1 assist over those 4 games, and he has hit the 50-goal mark.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he hit 50.
He is 97 points on the season.
There's a lot of guys that'll probably eclipse the 100-point mark this year.
Yeah, there's a good amount.
Yeah, him included.
Yep.
I mean, what, they have 9 games left. All he needs is 3 points.
Yeah,
He'll get that.
Oh yeah.
He'll get that.
It's just crazy the discrepancy between first and second place points wise for Boston, because it's like Pasternak with 97, and then it's Bergeron with 57.
Marchand isn't even up there.
No, sorry, Marchand has 63.
Oh,
and then Bergeron.
well, he
has
can't
57.
score another point. That's his jersey number.
Right, that's it.
I swear to God, Sidney Crosby shoots to do that every year. Okay, he gets like really close to having exactly 87 points every year. You know that psycho wants to.
Well, it's kind of like how in baseball, Chris Davis, of the Oakland A's, hit.
Oh yeah.
Because there's 2 Chris Davises playing at the same time.
But he spells his first name in a really odd way.
K.
It's KH, isn't it?
Yes.
It's KHRIS.
Yep, Chris with a K.
Yeah.
Hit for 247 3 years in a row.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird that it was the exact same batting average. It's insane.
It's amazing.
That's not even possible to do, really. And if he was like, "No, I did that on purpose," I'd be like, "You're the best baseball player of all time."
And you chose 247?
Yeah, why wouldn't you choose 347?
All right, we're gonna go on to Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Buffalo win 2-1 this week.
It's a shame they fell out of the playoff race.
So I mean, it's more that their March was the same as their November.
Yeah.
Which remember at the beginning of the season,
Yeah.
Buffalo October amazing, Buffalo November always bad,
Yeah.
and then they played in March the same
Well,
way.
2-1's not too bad.
They have,
But leading up to this, they have not been doing so hot.
this is their 4th win for the month of March.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Uh,
But 2 of them this week, though.
yeah, there it is. So if they go into April like they were playing in December,
I think Buffalo still has a lot to build on this year. They have looked dangerous. They have a bona fide star in Tage Thompson, Dylan Cousins too. They have Dolly, and they have all these good building blocks.
their young guys stepped up this year, and then they're going to step up. They should step up again
if they
next
can
year,
solidify like their goaltending and maybe like their depth,
which
they could be a playoff
They
team
might
next
do
year.
already with that guy that
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and
Devin Levi.
yes,
Yeah.
Evan Levi.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that would
they
be
might have it
very
figured
solid.
out. Yeah, they might have it figured out, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Anderson's probably going to retire and be the
I would
goalie
think so,
coach.
yeah.
So you have
Oh yeah, he already wanted to do that, but then his contract technically wasn't with Buffalo. It was with another team.
yeah,
right?
probably Ottawa if anything.
Yeah, and they were like, you like by the laws of the NHL can't retire and become the goalie coach of one team while you're under contract of
yeah.
another team. And he was like, oh okay.
But yeah, so next year will probably be Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and then Eric Comrie in net while they let
Levi
grow.
unless he blows him away in
maybe
training camp, but
we'll see.
I'm sure he'll get a starter too here towards the end of the year because he just signed to just like Owen Power did last year.
Yes,
where he can play like the last 10 games or something of the season.
So Buffalo is 35-31-6 on the year. They have 76 points.
Not a bad record.
They're 5th overall in the division. They have 10 games left, and they are 6 points out of that second wildcard spot.
Not as far back as I thought actually. So like they still got a chance. There's a chance.
So
there's a chance.
If they do this next month the way they played,
well, half month, but
but
these next 10 games, if they can win like 7 of these next 10 games and like some other teams falter ahead of them,
in it.
They could get in there.
They All right, so we'll talk about them.
And
So
then, what a story. Buffalo knocks out Boston in the
Oh,
first
my
round. What a
God.
story that would be.
I think Boston
And
fans
Boston has some ridiculous record against Buffalo, don't they? Like,
Boston fans are actually scared of Buffalo this year because Buffalo has beaten them a couple of
Have they?
times. Yeah.
oh, maybe I'm thinking about home ice.
Um,
Boston is some ridiculous record
home
against
ice
Buffalo.
Boston
Yeah,
Home ice Boston this
last
year,
like 20 games
in
are like
general.
19-1 against them.
So
Sorry, wait, you have not talked about any game for Buffalo.
No, I
this
have
week.
not.
Yeah,
So last week was pretty rough for Buffalo, letting in like 15 goals in 3 games. They started the week by continuing that trend,
good.
losing to Nashville 7-3.
Yeah,
But they
boy, that's kind of shameful loss too. Nashville's not doing super duper hot this
no,
year.
they're not. Where the frick is my? Goddamn. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Take your time.
All right. Yeah. That was weird. Never mind. They didn't. Oh, they gave up 7. There it is. They last
Didn't
week
they give up 7 to Columbus?
Boston.
Boston. Oh.
Last week was
Columbus gave up 7 to
gave up 3, gave up 5, gave up 5, or gave up 3, gave up 4, gave up 5, gave up 7, gave up 7 again against Nashville, and then they beat the Devils 5-4. And
That's
they
pretty impressive.
They held
honestly.
on to that win because they were up 5-2 in the going into the third period, so they held on to that win. Alex Tuck had 2 goals and assists in that game, and then they finished their week strong against the Metro again, and shutting out the Islanders 2-0.
Thanks, Buffalo.
And Eric Comrie was in net. So the last time
In Long Island too.
yes,
Yeah.
in Long Island, and also the last time Eric Comrie played was when he gave up 10 against Dallas. So he went giving up
and he
10
got a shutout.
to
Good
get
for
him
him.
his second
Good for him.
career shutout.
He's not that old of a goalie either, right?
No, he's not.
mid-20s, I think.
Yes. And then Kyle Okposo broke the deadlock in the third
Nice.
to get that game
Oh,
winning
captain,
goal.
my captain.
Former Islander too.
That's true. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Tuck and Dylan Cousins are their top players because both had 2 goals and 2 assists this week.
Right on.
Moving on to a team that is not doing well.
Detroit.
It's Detroit. 1-3. Woo! All right.
We're at that time of year. It's tankathon season.
Oh,
baby.
it is. It's tankathon.
Although there's a couple. No. I take that back. Never mind.
In the draft lottery, the bottom 11, you have to be in 11.
I think it's the bottom. They changed it from bottom 16 because the Metro kept
Yes.
skipping up into the top somehow.
So you in the bottom
Shout out to Alexis Lafreniere.
in the bottom 11 for the draft lottery, you can jump up
You can up from 11 to 1.
10 points. So you can go from
You
11 to
can.
1.
Your
Odds decrease.
Yes, just in case you guys don't know, whoever finishes dead last in the standings has the highest percentage chance of getting the first overall pick.
Yes.
And then from there, the percentages decrease. Obviously, they all add up to 100, and the lowest percentage is 11.
I mean, I think every bottom 16 team gets in the lottery, but you can, again, only jump up 10.
Oh, is that what they did?
I think that's what
Oh,
they did.
okay.
So, like, the 16th player or team, they can't pick any higher than 6th.
Oh, okay. That's a little confusing, but I mean that is better than the 16th place team. Say this year, say it's Florida.
Right.
It's better than Florida getting the first overall pick. Everybody would be mad about that.
No, I would actually absolutely love it because Montreal
I mean-
owns their first.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Okay,
You picked
fair
the
enough.
wrong team.
I did. You're right. Okay, Pittsburgh. Say Pittsburgh
Yes.
finished just out of the playoffs at 16, and they somehow win the draft lottery against all odds, and they get Connor Bedard.
Oh, yeah.
People on the internet would light the hockey internet on fire if
Yeah.
the Penguins got that pick.
Oh, me included.
I would be happy.
Of course.
but Penguins fans would be like, hell yeah.
So, but yes, it is kind of the tank for Bedard race.
Yeah.
I forgot who is kind of the consensus second pick.
There's a few guys. I don't remember off the top of my head, but this draft is supposed to be pretty good.
Because Even if like a lot of teams, even you don't get Bedard,
There's
they're
still a
still
bunch of pretty good
pumped
guys. Yeah,
to get
there's still a bunch of pretty good
pick in
guys.
the top 5.
There's one young guy out of Russia who's supposed to be really good. I think his name is Miroshenko or something like that. I don't think he's number 2. I think he dropped back a little bit, but there's a few like real big prospects up there.
There's a lot of
Everybody's talking about Bedard because he's destroying the CHL right now, but like there's a few other guys that are like, oh, yeah, I'd be pretty happy with that guy too.
So it's
I'll look it up.
It's very much the tank for Bedard, and Detroit's. I don't think they expected to tank for Bedard this hard. They fell off a cliff.
Well, once the draft, the trade deadline came up, you can Yzerman at least kind of saw the writing on the wall and got some stuff. Like he got a first round pick,
but they're still underperforming.
Oh no, I agree with you.
All right, so 1-3, 31, 32, and 9. That's 71 points. That is 7th in the division. Their first game for the week was against Florida, which they lost.
Fantilli is
yes.
the second, and then I'm sorry, it's Mishakov. Is the guy. Oh, the Miroshenko. I think he went to the Capitals last year, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was last year that he was in.
5-2 loss against Florida. They were. I don't have anything to say about that. 20 shots.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just like
25 shots, so 5 goals and 20 shots. It's not what you want. And then they went to. Nope. This is where it gets funky. They played St. Louis at home, beat them in shootout. 3-2 shootout win, where Helleberg was in net, saving 20 for 22, 1 for 3 on the power play, perfect on the penalty kill, and then they lost against St. Louis away, 3-4. Hellberg started the game. He left. Yes, Hellberg started the game. He left after giving up 10 goals on 13 shots. Whoopsie. So Nedeljkovic came back in. So, yeah, Nedeljkovic came in. He got called up this week.
Oh, I forgot he went down to the minors.
He's been in the minors for most of the year.
Yeah. I feel bad for him.
Unfortunately, he gave up 1 goal and ended up with the loss. I know.
That sucks.
Edmondson got his first goal of the season, I believe, in this game or the last.
I'm going to step away
St.
for
Louis
1
game.
second, but keep talking.
Oh, she's eating it.
Did she?
I'm looking at it.
I need to make sure.
I'm watching her. And then they finished the week by getting shut out by Philadelphia, losing 3-0. Djokovic in net there. He had a not good week, and I think I figured it out. They don't get a top player, but again, I messed up writing Detroit so bad. I think I got it. I didn't look up shots. I was doing this one on the train. It might have been close. Detroit bad. Moving on. Florida.
Good girl.
Now, if Florida wants to be in the playoffs, they got to do better than what they did this week.
Nah, it's okay.
1-3.
Unless they want to catch the Islanders, that's fine.
1-3 this week. Just absolutely blowing it.
You blow it.
36, 30, and 7. 79 points. That's 4th.
Yeah.
They have 9 games left,
Mm-hmm.
and they're 3 points out.
Yes. If I remember correctly, 3 points behind Pittsburgh with the same amount of games played, and 4 games behind, or 4 points behind the Islanders?
With a game in hand.
With a game in hand, yeah. Let me look that up.
So, they started this week by beating Detroit, like I mentioned, 5-2. Bobrovsky's in net, 1 for 2 on that power play. Kachuk had a goal and 2 assists in that game. Then they lost to Philadelphia, 3-6. Now,
Shameful.
Alex Lyon was in net. They gave Bobrovsky a break because he had played 12 straight.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
They outshot.
They did. I remember this.
They outshot Philadelphia by 20 shots.
Yep.
44-24.
Yep.
Um,
Oh, Alex Lyon.
Poor guy.
Well, you can't. I didn't watch the game. You can't necessarily put them all on him.
One of them was an empty net.
Okay.
Because Lyon only faced 23 shots, but still.
Yeah.
I think their fifth goal was an empty net. Philadelphia's fifth goal was an empty net goal. They put the goalie back in and they scored again.
And they got a 6th goal.
Yep.
That hurts.
Yeah, that's not what you want.
Yeah.
Then they lost to Toronto 2-6. Nothing
Oof.
shameful against losing to Toronto, but it's
No, but that by that amount.
But what you wanted
not
to,
even really in the game.
Nope.
Yeah.
Bobrovsky was back. Not helpful.
Yeah.
Or I mean, him being back didn't help. Not he just.
I will say, even if they do make the playoffs, Bobrovsky's track record in the playoffs is not good.
He had one good series, so
He
let's
had
see.
one, yeah. Or Tampa had one bad series.
That was just everything. It was
Yeah.
Columbus controlled that series. We
Yes.
keep talking about it,
Yeah.
but like.
Well,
Columbus
it's because
dominated.
until there's not parallels anymore. There's parallels to Boston, so we're going to keep bringing it up until Boston wins their first round. Which I would not bet against Boston
I
in the
wouldn't.
first round, but like there's parallels to
Yes.
it, to two separate teams, to Tampa Bay and Detroit in the mid '90s. So.
Yes. And then they finished the week by losing to the Rangers 3-4. I didn't end up watching this game, but Barkov got 2 goals in that game. In fact, Barkov is their top player. He had 2 goals and 4 assists.
Swasha Barkov.
So 6 points in 4 games, even if you go 1-3.
Yeah. I mean, you're the only one that's trying,
You're
it seems like. Yeah.
I mean, Verhaeghe, Kachuk, they're trying. They're putting up points. But if you're giving up a minimum
goals,
of 4 goals in those, like, each loss had at least 4 goals. It's not good.
Not good.
All right. Moving on to Montreal, 2-1 this week. They are 29, 30, 38, and 6. It's good for 64 points. That's last in the division. I don't need to talk about how many games played because they're not
Doesn't
touching
matter.
the playoffs.
No. Nowhere close to the playoffs.
No, I don't
In
think-
fact, have they been eliminated from the playoffs yet?
They might be the only one from the East.
Montreal? No, Columbus is definitely.
No,
if
sorry.
Montreal
Sorry,
is
from the Atlantic. From the
Oh,
Atlantic.
okay. If Montreal is eliminated, Columbus definitely is.
I know Columbus, San Jose, Anaheim, and Chicago are eliminated. I don't know about Montreal
I'll check it right now. Yeah.
officially yet. They started their win by beating Tampa Bay 3-2.
Look at that.
Montembeault in net, 939 save percentage. Matheson had the game-winning goal, and they were outshot 20-33.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Then they lost to Boston.
So for now, Columbus is the only Eastern team
That's what I
eliminated
thought.
from the playoffs right now. Arizona, Chicago, Anaheim, and
I forgot.
San Jose.
I forgot Arizona. That's me.
Anaheim or Arizona might have been eliminated this week.
Lost to Boston 2-4.
Yeah,
Close.
makes sense.
Yep. Allen was in net. They outshot Boston 31-21 in this game. Kirby Doc had a goal and an assist.
Kirby,
They were 2 for 5 on the power play and 5 for 5 on the penalty kill.
righteous.
It's a good game outside of the
Outside of the actual score,
result,
really
yeah.
good game.
Yeah. Then they took out all of those frustrations that they had in losing to Boston
Oh boy, did they!
against Columbus.
Oh yeah, they did.
They beat them 8-2.
I was watching the Penguins game, and that score showed up on like the out of town scoreboard, and I was like 8-2.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was the third. There was a lot of time left in the third period. I was like, oh my god,
Raphael, Harvey, Pinard.
who is this motherfucker? He keeps
is-
scoring.
He scored a hat trick.
Yeah,
I think it's the first time in a long time that a rookie has scored a hat trick for Montreal. He's a 7th rounder.
Hey, good for this
That
kid. He's going to be on the team next year.
that just made his mark.
What? He has almost 10 goals the last few weeks, I think,
I
right?
believe so. Give me
With that hat trick. I mean, that hat
one
trick helped, obviously.
second, and I can give you a little bit more. Got 12 goals on the season.
How many games has he played?
In 29.
Oh, that's more games than I thought, actually. But that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still really good.
29 games played.
Especially for some random rookie that they just called up.
And I think he's just an elder rookie too. Like,
oh, he's just a little older.
right, but
Yeah,
but
either
still,
way, good for him.
still drafted in the 7th round
Yeah.
and just gets to play in
And
the
his
NHL.
last name is Harvey Pinard.
He's from Montreal.
Oh, that
He's
makes it even
playing
better.
in the hometown team.
Yeah, that makes it even better.
It's a great story. And again, just
Watch him score 40 next year.
oh my god,
I'll
be amazing.
Be like, who is this motherfucker?
What?
His first name's Raphael.
I mean,
He's the coolest Ninja Turtle.
I believe Carey Price hasn't had has only had a player score 80 points in front of him once.
Yeah, it makes sense.
His rookie year.
Yeah,
That was it.
That makes sense.
So
Probably Saku Koivu.
I don't think it might.
Yeah, no, Saku was the one that was on Montreal.
Maybe.
Miku was on Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I think. Maybe.
But still,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know who it was. I'm just guessing.
Montreal doesn't score a lot of points, so if they had a 40 goal scorer in this kid,
They had Max Pacioretty for a long time.
he'd be never scored more than 80 points,
I guess that's true.
either due to injuries or
yeah.
stuff like that. Because remember, Chara tried to kill him.
Oh, that's true. I constantly forget about that it was Pacioretty that Charo ran into the divide. That's why it's rounded at the edge
Yes,
now, is because
They changed the rule.
he was he wasn't actually almost decapitated, but like it could have.
They changed the structure of the rinks.
Yeah,
from
so now
right angles on the glass next to the benches to curves.
Curves, yeah, because he got messed up.
Smoked.
Yeah, I don't think I don't.
Broken vertebrae in his neck.
I don't remember. It was a while ago at this point. I don't think Chara meant to do it. Like that. You think he meant to put his head into the divider
No,
like that?
but he was trying to he was trying.
No,
to,
he was trying to cream him, but like I don't think he was trying.
There
to,
was
like,
some stuff between those two in the corner leading up to it.
Okay.
So like, it's
some hockey players
Who knows
decide I'm gonna try to kill a person.
who knows if he was trying to kill him, but he was trying to hurt him,
Yeah.
and he did.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, significantly.
That was in 2011.
I was in college when that happened. That was 12 years ago.
Yes, it was.
How did you know that off the top of your head?
I've watched that video too many times.
Oh, okay.
It's just
Fair
like,
enough.
Jesus Christ.
Fair enough.
It's popped up too many times.
Really quick tangent. What is your earliest hockey memory?
My earliest hockey
that just made me think of it.
was the Ducks losing to the Devils.
For real?
Yeah.
Mine's really close to that, actually. My earliest hockey memory, I believe, is the Avalanche beating the Devils.
Oh, really?
In the Stanley Cup final. And then the year after that, I think it was the year after that, the Devils beat the Ducks in the final. Because I really like J.S. Shiger, because I liked his name, because I was a kid.
Look, I was a kid.
It was like 2000, 2001, whatever.
Right, like I like the Ducks. Like the Ducks,
Yeah,
the colors were cool. They're Ducks.
Well, I would always
But I
pick...
also kind of liked the Devils because it's just like, I was born in New Jersey. So, like...
Ew, were you?
I was.
Ew.
Yeah.
Gross. I was born in Pittsburgh.
Not very far from Newark either. So,
Really?
yeah.
Was your family just in New Jersey at the time?
They just had, they happened to be in New Jersey. My mom was working in New York City.
Well, yeah, I think it coincides with that same year, but like one of those years that the Devils either went to or won the Stanley Cup, the Penguins were in the playoffs, and I remember they played the Sabres, and Dominic Hasek was on the Sabres, and the Penguins won in a really dramatic fashion in overtime in Game 7 to beat them, and then they went on to play the Devils, and they lost to the Devils. I can't remember if that was in the second or third round, but either way, and then I remember paying attention to the Devils going on to play I believe the Avalanche in the finals and then losing to the.
I don't really like. I never watched a lot of hockey as a kid. I remember.
I did obviously, but that was just the household I was.
No,
in.
yeah, my parents. I wasn't in a hockey household, so I do remember my parents or dad putting on the Ducks Devils during the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
I remember watching the Lightning win in 2004.
I watched that too. Yeah.
I might have.
I think I've watched every Cup final since then,
I don't know
at least a little bit.
In Maryland at the time, I feel like I was somewhere else, but I don't know why.
I believe I have watched at least part of every Cup final since Ray Bourque won the championship.
I watched the Kings
and then retired.
I watched the Kings beat the Rangers, but
I watched that too.
There was other ones just in between that I didn't see. Like I didn't see the Stars win. I didn't see.
Well, that was in '90. That was before any of this we're talking about. That was in '99.
Stars were that late.
Yeah, that was that long ago.
Wow, I thought they won another one.
Mm-mm.
Weird.
They went to another one.
But that
was recently.
2 years ago.
Yeah, because it was. I remember Colorado winning, and then the Devils winning, and then I think it was Tampa Bay won, and that was against Calgary. Who won after that?
I went to a Man United game.
I think it was the Ducks after that. The Ducks won after Tampa Bay won. I'm pretty sure. The Ducks did win a championship.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. I think it was in 2005, maybe.
They had switched. It was the first year that they were in the orange and blacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember they had Niedermeyer and Pronger.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other big time players.
Then what else? I watched a Man United Philadelphia Union game in 2010 when the Flyers were playing Chicago. It wasn't one of those games during one of those games, but
that broke a bunch of my Flyers friends' hearts when Patrick Kane scored that goal that only he knew he scored.
Only he knew.
Yeah,
but
and he was celebrating, and everybody else was like, "What happened?"
And
he was like, "We just won the Stanley Cup. I beat him. It's in the net."
He had taken off all of his.
Well, it's because it got
padding.
stuck under the something in the net, and nobody saw it for a second.
Jersey was off.
His gloves were off. His helmet was off.
His wrist guards were off.
Yeah, he was just charging down the other side of the rink. Anyway, that was just sorry for that little tangent there, but I just popped into my head.
Yeah.
I thought it would be interesting to ask you. That's funny that it's really close to the same time
right?
for us. Yeah.
I remember being upset that the Ducks, because I think it was.
I was upset the Ducks lost
because I think
I wanted them to
the
win.
one that I watched, the game that I remember watching was the one where the Devils clinched. So I remember being upset, but at the same time, it's just like I'm not that upset.
Yeah,
because I like Brodeur.
Yeah, I think it was that year that they beat the Penguins, so I was like, come on, I want the Devils to lose. They beat my team.
Right. Oh, I mean, you always want to. You either want the team that beats you to win it all, unless they're a rival.
Unless it's a team that you hate.
Yeah, and then you just want them to lose the next round.
Well, I will say to that point, when the Capitals beat the Penguins in the playoffs, I was like, I hope the Capitals win the championship. Because I was like, they deserve it. Because the best two teams had already played, and you guys won. So.
Well, I mean, okay, that's fair. You're a bigger person than I am, because I...
I know.
Yeah. I will never...
I know you a petty bitch.
I'm a petty bitch. I hope for you to never be happy when it comes to sports.
It is funny how close of friends we are.
Pirates excluded. Not
the
in the same...
Pirates are never going to be good ever again.
One day they might, but it's not the same division, so...
That's true. It's really funny how close of friends we are, having brutally opposite rival teams.
In multiple sports.
Yeah, in two sports. Because I'm obviously fully a Pittsburgh fan. I don't really care about the Pirates because they shame the city. But I am
because the Pirates don't care about
I'm
Pirates.
obviously a Penguins and Steelers fan, and Clay is a Capitals and Ravens fan.
Yep. I mean, if Baltimore,
Four teams that hate each other.
if Baltimore had a hockey team, I'd root for them over the
Obviously,
Caps
yeah.
in a heartbeat. But yeah, Montreal.
Yes, sorry. Let's get back on track, I guess.
We actually finished talking about the games, but their top player is Nick Suzuki, who had 2 goals and 6 assists in those 3 games. Next up is Ottawa. Ottawa is 2-2 this week. They had 35. Not 35. Had 35. They are 35, 33, and 5. Excuse me. 75 points. They're 6th in the division. With 9 games left for Ottawa, they are only 7 points out of the second wildcard spot.
Dang.
It's close. It might be a little bit out of their reach, but because of some of the injury news that I'll talk about later. But let's get into their games this week.
Oh, apparently I was wrong. I think it was the year the Avalanche won that the Devils beat the Penguins in the playoffs. Yes, it was. It was in the Eastern Conference Final.
Okay.
And then they lost to Colorado in the final. Sorry, I had to look that up.
It was bothering you.
Yeah.
So Bert knows about this game. Started off by beating Pittsburgh 2-1 with Dylan Ferguson starting
This
his
motherfucker.
first game.
This motherfucker stopped like 45 shots.
49.
49
Sorry,
shots. I was
sorry.
so
Sorry.
angry.
I'm wrong. He faced 49 shots. He stopped 48.
The Penguins tied the game really late and then went on the power play and let them score almost immediately with like 2 minutes left in the game. I was so mad. Sorry, go ahead.
All right, what happened later in the week for Pittsburgh? Shut up.
That game also made me mad, even though they won.
Yes, so Pittsburgh outshot Ottawa 49-21 in this game, but Ottawa gets the win 2-1.
Fucking Dylan Ferguson.
Dylan Ferguson.
Hate you.
Then they went on to lose to Boston 1-2 in a
Good.
very close game.
Good. Glad they lost.
Shots were pretty even, but they gave up a power play goal. Then they went out and kicked the crap out of the Tampa Bay Lightning 7-2.
Tampa not having a good week. I'm hearing so far.
Nope. Pat Maroon got a 10-minute game misconduct. DeBrincat.
That fat boy Pat.
DeBrincat had 2 goals and an assist.
Who called him fat? Was it the announcer from Boston?
Jack Edwards.
Yeah.
Who, bringing up that like Martin Hook incident, I don't know if he's well.
I don't think he is. He must have some contract where they can't like be like, you should retire.
He might retire.
I don't know. He's very old too.
Like, I don't want to do too much speculation.
Yeah.
But between 2 years ago and this year, he is a lot slower. He is slurring his words more. Coming back from a commercial, he's on point.
But he's only 66.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's not that old.
He's not as old as I thought.
But
Wow, he does not look like I thought he looked.
it's one of those things where it's just like, sir, are you okay?
Here's a picture of him with a puppy.
Yeah, no, I know what he looks like.
Yeah. I didn't know what he looked like, actually.
That might be from 2011.
Probably. Well, he's the Boston announcer. So.
Yeah.
Or one of
the
Boston
picture of him
announcers.
with the puppy is next to the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I
that
just,
he's sharing.
I guess I had never seen a picture of Jack Edwards before. I did not know what he looked like.
Yeah, I'm not bringing up a clip.
No, it's fine.
But yeah, it was just, yeah, but Jack Edwards called him Fat Pat.
Yeah, like
Oh,
last year or something.
Not even this year.
I don't remember. But everybody was like, "What? What are you talking about?"
I know they've been calling him Fat Pat for, like, on the ice, but like this isn't a national broadcast right now.
Yeah, right.
All right, so yes, they lost to Tampa. They beat Tampa Bay 7-2. DeBrincat had 2 goals and assists, and he waved to Patrick Maroon as he got kicked because it was like Maroon was getting in his face.
Bye.
Yep. And then they finished the week by losing to the Devils 3-5. Dylan Ferguson was back in net. He did end up missing a game. Like he was supposed to start another time this week, but
Boo,
due to an
Dylan
illness,
Ferguson. Boo.
didn't have the game that he did against Pittsburgh. He let in
Good.
4 goals on 34 shots.
Cut him.
10 for 13 on the penalty kill, so it's not the best.
Not the best.
It's not bad, but Matthew Tkachuk is their top player with 3 goals and 1 assist.
All right. God, we're still on the Atlantic Division.
We tangented it as a motherfucker this time.
You guys know what you're in for at this point, right?
Tampa Bay.
We appreciate every one of you listening.
0-3.
Ooh.
0-3.
Ooh.
42, 26, and 6.
I mean, they haven't clinched a playoff spot technically, but they have a playoff
90
spot.
points.
Yeah.
3rd in the division. 2-3 loss against Montreal. 2-7 loss against Ottawa.
I don't even think they can drop down into the. I mean, they can, but they would have to lose like every game.
Every single game. 1-2 loss against Boston.
Boston.
It was really fun to watch them both goon it up and try to goon it up against Montreal and Ottawa. Because, again, just what a bunch of sore.
Yeah, they don't handle losing
They
do well.
do not handle
No,
losing
they don't.
well.
It's really funny, actually.
It's such a dirty team.
Yeah, they really like once a game is not going their way, they really become little shitheads about the
Like,
game.
almost the entire team.
Yeah,
Not,
yeah.
like,
Well, because I believe
Kucherov, Sergachev hurt somebody by
Yeah.
pushing them into pushing them into the net
Yeah.
for an empty net.
I believe Pittsburgh has beaten them pretty soundly all 3 times this year, and all 3 times Tampa Bay has started taking like shots at
Yep.
the Pittsburgh players, and it's like
Even Hedman slew-footed Chikrin. In the process of,
was that how Chikrin got hurt?
it didn't help. Chikrin did go into the boards later and then did not return, but he was very slow to get up from a slew foot. But in the build-up, Hedman slew-footed Chikrin, and then they scored. So, like, that's why nothing really happened.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I don't like Tampa.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Stamkos is one of the guys who doesn't seem to
No. Yeah.
do
Stamkos is
anything.
fine,
I don't
but
normally don't see anything with Point either.
no. They're
But-
2 mostly skill guys, but literally everyone else does.
Yeah, right. It's crazy.
Even Kucherov.
Sorry, especially Kucherov.
It's so funny.
Kucherov is
and Malkin are very similar players because they're like, and not just because they're both Russian, but like they're excellent skill players. But then like
get
get
them mad, and it's freaking
any slight, they will chop you right in the hands. You know. And I think it was earlier this year, Malkin got his 1,000th penalty minute.
Yes, he did.
Which is insane.
And like Kucherov will board like nobody's business.
Oh yeah. Well, there was that thing a couple years ago with Malkin where somebody did something in the playoffs and he turned and like just chopped him in the face or in the back of the head, and he got suspended for a game. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
In the playoffs, this is against Columbus in the second game. Kucherov tripped Nyquist.
Gustav Nyquist.
Yes, I think he tripped Nyquist, and then got called for it, and then while Nyquist was getting up onto one knee to like keep playing, Kucherov boards him.
It's great.
Like
good job.
Full scrum
Really
breaks
good,
out. Like
really good example for
like,
everyone else.
I can't believe he didn't get suspended on it. Like he got kicked out of the game, but
The playoffs are weird because like sometimes somebody will do something like Malkin did, and he will justifiably get suspended. But then there's other times where you see somebody like Kucherov do that, and you're like, how was he not suspended?
Oh, speaking of playoffs, when it comes to suspensions, because this popped into my brain, you will see a lot of Vancouver fans talk about how they robbed by the refs because the longest playoff suspension that happened at the time occurred during the Stanley Cup Finals.
Who was it?
I can't remember who.
Was it Kessler?
No, it wasn't Kessler.
Oh, that surprises me.
Looking at that hit, that suspension was totally deserved.
I'll have to go back and look at it, but I don't actually know what you're talking about.
Well, the whole thing is that the head of player safety, his son actually played for the Bruins.
Oh, weird.
But
at the time, it's a different guy now.
But he had actually stepped back while the Bruins were in the playoffs,
as he should,
because it's my son.
He
gave that that power.
Look at him having integrity.
And then he resigned. He actually ended up resigning right before the finals happened. So he wasn't even.
So you can't even say it was him doing it,
right?
Yeah. All right, finish the.
It might have been Burroughs. No, it's not right.
No. That was somebody who. Burroughs might have been who got suspended because that was a guy who played for Vancouver.
That's what I mean.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the player. That it could have been him. He was known to be a pretty dirty player.
Yeah, I don't think it was Burroughs. I think either way. Sorry.
Either way. Let's finish up the Atlantic for God's sakes.
For God's sakes. Toronto is 2-2 on the week. They are 44-20-9. They have 97 points. They're second in the division. Oh, Tampa Bay doesn't get a top player.
Nah.
Beating the Islanders, losing to the Islanders to start the week 2-7. Really freaking annoying because help me out. I don't want the Islanders. I don't like the Islanders. Stop giving the Islanders 2-7.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's
you gave
really
up
bad.
7 goals to the Islanders.
A team known to not score that much.
Christ.
It seems like a team coached to not score that much.
Yes,
almost. Yeah.
All right, then they beat Florida 6-2. Murray was in net there. Adjusted 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. Matthews had 2 goals. Then they lose to Carolina 3-5. It's a closer game because they outshot Carolina 44-28. Beating Nashville to finish off the week 3-2. Woll was in net there because someone picked up an injury. Yes, Samsonov is day-to-day for personal reasons.
Okay.
Tavares had 2 goals and an assist in that game. Adjusted, they were 8 for 10 on the penalty kill, which is good. Unadjusted, 7 for 10, which is bad.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Austin Matthews is their top player with 4 goals and 3 assists. News. In that game against Carolina, Bergeron, Marchand, and Lindholm were all out.
Oh.
All out. Bergeron for a non-COVID illness. Marchand and Lindholm had some injuries that it says undisclosed, so they're not saying what, but so it's one or 2 games and they'll be back. Also, AJ Greer got suspended for a game for a cross-check to the face of Mike Hoffman.
Yep.
Yes, Mike Hoffman.
And then Mike Hoffman bitched about it.
Well, he also...
Well, kind of justifiably, because he sort of did a similar thing that he got suspended for, I think, 2 games.
He did.
And then AJ Greer did not get suspended.
Mike Hoffman's was worse.
Was it?
It was to the back of the head of Couture while he wasn't looking.
That is worse. Well...
Yes, it was in the helmet, but it's still to the back of the head.
Yeah. It's more cowardly.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny they give you more of a suspension if you're hit. It's more cowardly.
I do understand how Hoffman was pissed because he had 15 stitches in his internally and then another 10 externally.
His face is messed up.
His chin is fucked. I would have agreed if he had gotten suspended for 2 games. Yeah. Now this was 2 guys in a face-off slashing and cross-checking at each other. And
it's almost like they should just call cross-checking more.
Right?
Because it happens so often and gets called so little.
They were already scrumming a little bit before this, and then Greer just got him in the face.
These hits could be controlled if you just called cross-checking more.
Right? Next up is Buffalo. Mason Greenway?
Jordan Greenway. Yes, it is. Yes. Because they traded for him at the trade deadline.
From Minnesota, yeah.
Yes.
All right, Greenway. He's right now day-to-day with an upper body. He missed the last game. And then Vinny Hinostroza is out right now for personal reasons. For Detroit, Earn, Huso, and Zadina are all day-to-day for now for lower body injuries. So that's why Nedeljkovic came back. He got recalled for emergency regions.
Makes sense.
Sam Bennett for Florida, his day-to-day for an undisclosed injury. He's missed the entire week. So he didn't play a single game this week. So that's why, even though he's listed as day-to-day, missed a week.
Yeah, missed a entire week.
For Montreal, Josh Anderson and Caden Gooley.
Yeah.
They're both done for the season with high ankle sprains.
Did Caden Gooley just come back?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it was the game against. I mentioned it, but I didn't.
He hasn't played the entire year, and then he came back, and then he got hurt again.
He's played more than.
He hasn't played that much.
He missed a huge chunk of time. It was against Tampa Bay. He came back against Tampa Bay, or Florida. Either way, he got injured against Tampa Bay. He kept getting hurt, leaving, coming back, getting hurt again, during that game, and it just ended up being a high ankle sprain. So they're just shutting him down. Chikrin for Ottawa is week to week with a lower body injury. Yes, he was slow to get up from that slew foot from Hedman, but he also went awkwardly into the boards later in the game and that did not return. And then Ridley Greg, I think it's Greg, he's done for the season with a sternum injury.
That's crazy. Yeah. That happened against the Penguins, I'm pretty sure. I think he blocked a shot, but he took it in the chest.
Yep, and sternum injury, he's done.
Hopefully he's okay. That's scary.
Toronto, Bobby McMann is, who knows when he's coming back, for a knee injury, and then Samsonov is out for personal reasons.
Who the fuck is Bobby McMann?
Why do you think I put his first name?
No, I do that sometimes too. I'm like, I don't know who that is.
That's why I put Ridley Gregg. Bobby McMann.
Ridley Gregg. That sounds like a pirate. That's Ridley Gregg over there.
He's Ridley because he's got rickets.
Yeah. Because he's riddled with bullets from all of our pirate adventures.
All right, I'm done.
Okay, let's talk about the Metro. Starting with Carolina, going to 1-1 this week. Desperately trying to hang on to first place in the Metro.
Yep.
I believe the Devils are right up their butts right now.
Yeah.
Carolina started off the week by beating the Rangers 3-2, then where Freddie Anderson was 29 of 31.
Mm-hmm.
They then lost to the Rangers 2-1, where they outshot the Rangers 30-16. They beat Toronto, as Clay already mentioned, where Sebastian Aho had a goal and an assist, and Faust and Natchez had 2 assists each in that game. And then they lost to Boston in a shootout, as Clay already mentioned, where Brett Pesce had 2 assists.
They were wearing
their Hartford Whalers jerseys. I miss those jerseys. They're so cool. I mean,
why do you think I wear that hat all the time?
To be fair, I can't say that I miss them. I was not cognizant when the Whalers were still a team, but that's such a cool.
All right.
It's such a lime green. It pops on the ice, and you're like, ooh, I wish that was still in the league.
So, remember last year when the whole Lamborghini versus Prius thing happened with Trocheck and Marchand?
Yeah.
Well, after this win, Boston tweets out.
That's why they tweeted that. I was confused why they tweeted that.
Boston tweeted out that their Lambo was in the garage because Marchand didn't play. Carolina's response to that was, all right, we'll let New York know. Because Trocheck is now on the Rangers.
Right.
That was a pretty good response by Carolina.
Yeah. It's a pretty good tweet by Boston, too, honestly.
It is a pretty good tweet by Boston, but remember, with that whole Lambo to Prius tweet, Carolina kicked the shit out of Boston 7-2 that game.
Yeah, they did. That was also pretty funny.
Yeah.
Just to shout out another Twitter handle that I follow that I think is pretty amazing. Shout out to whoever the fuck runs the National Park Service Twitter.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
It's so funny for no reason. And it's the official one. It's the government body one.
Yeah.
And it's just whoever is running it is really good at, like, nature jokes, essentially.
Like the early bird gets the worm, but the early hiker gets spider webs in his face, and your tall friends first.
Yeah.
Like,
and they were also the ones that tweeted out, like, research shows that 100% of squirrel bites happen at the front or bitey end of the squirrel.
if you hold an ermine up to your ear, you hear what
It sounds like
when
to
it-
get attacked by an ermine.
Yeah.
So funny. So shout out to whoever runs that. I love it. All right. Carolina actually does not get a top player. Their scoring was pretty spread around. That happened a lot in the Metro this week,
spread the love.
actually. Yeah. Just most of their scoring was spread between a bunch of players. No player was over a point per game this
Gotcha.
week. Columbus is up next. Speaking of tankathons, they're
The worst team. Tied for the worst.
tied for the worst, but they went 2-1 this week.
Wow.
Yeah, they were 3 for 9 on the power play and 3 for 5 on the penalty kill.
That's why they were tied for the worst. They were so
Yeah.
bad. Going 2-1 actually bumps them up.
Yeah, right. Hey, they beat Washington 7-6 in overtime.
Yes, they
to begin
did.
the week, where Adam Boqvist and Jack Roslovic each had 2 goals in that game. Robinson and Bemstrom each had a goal and an assist, while Goudreau, Lyonnais, and Johnson each had 2 assists in that game. And then they beat the Islanders 5-4 in overtime as well, where they were outshot by the Islanders 38-27. Roslovic had 2 assists in this game, while Jenner and Goudreau each had a goal and an assist, and Boone Jenner had the overtime game
Boone
winner.
Jenner? Boone Jenner.
Boone Jenner. And I think it was in this game that Kent Johnson did the Michigan goal,
Ooh.
where in case you guys don't know, it's
It's a lacrosse goal.
it's
basically.
a lacrosse goal. Yeah, no, it is. That's
Yeah.
exactly. That's a really good way to describe it. But it's
You're behind the net.
you're behind the net. The player presses down on the puck to get it to stick to his stick, to his hockey stick,
Yep.
and then he kind of just like, while the goalie isn't paying attention, just like whips it around and like just tucks it into the corner with his stick
the
in the
top
top
corner.
corner. Yeah, and it's really impressive to do. I can't think of many players that have done it in the actual NHL. It has to have happened before, but
Yeah.
but I love it because it really makes fundamental hockey guys be like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah."
Oh, 100%. And then there's guys who will, like, crush another dude because they know he'll try the Michigan, so they're going to crush him before he even, like, gets
Yep.
that chance.
So I love it when it happens because it makes all the old hockey heads be like, "That's disrespectful." I'm like, then stop them from doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then they finished off the week by losing to Montreal 8-2. Yikes.
Oof.
But you know what? Jack Roslovic is their top player this week, having 2 goals and 3 assists in those 3 games. Moving on to New Jersey, going 1-1-1 this week. So pretty like middle of the
pack.
road, middle of the road week. They lost to Minnesota in overtime 2-1, where they outshot Minnesota 48-29.
Wow.
I guess Dylan Ferguson was playing for Minnesota too.
No, it's Gustafson. He's actually been killing it this
you're
year.
right. You're right. And then they lost to Buffalo straight up 5-4. Jack Hughes did have 2 goals and an assist in that game, while I forget his first name, but his last name is Ball, Bahl, Ball, a goal and an assist in that game. Then they finish off the week by beating Ottawa 5-3, where Hughes had a goal and an assist, and Hischier had 2 assists, and Jack Hughes is your top player this week for the Devils, having 3 goals and 2 assists.
Wow.
Excuse me.
Wow.
Islanders are up next, having the exact same record as the Devils, 1-1-1.
Yeah, that tracks.
Beat Toronto 7-2, as Clay already mentioned, where Cal Clutterbuck, of all fucking people, had 2 goals and an assist in this game, while Andersley, I hate you, and Noah Dobson had a goal and an assist, and JG Pajot had 2 assists.
Didn't Clutterbuck do something stupid later in the week, though?
I don't remember.
To, like, mess up?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, they lost to Columbus in overtime, as I already mentioned, 5-4. Brock Nelson, hate you, had 2 goals in this game, while Kyle Palmieri had a goal and an assist.
I can't believe he's 37.
Kyle Palmieri?
Yeah. He's 38.
I've been watching hockey for so long. I remember when he was like a young stud player.
And the fact that, like, the Islanders are paying league minimum for him for what he's putting up, and Minnesota's...
He's playing pretty well for them.
I mean, Minnesota's still paying him $3 million.
I know. It's crazy. It really is.
Man, Chuck Fletcher's ruined 2 teams.
And is currently unemployed.
Yep.
Then they lost to Buffalo in the final game of the week, 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another instance when the scoring for the Islanders was pretty spread out, so they don't get a top player.
Gotcha.
And their goalies didn't play like that well. They played okay,
Right.
so but nothing to shout out.
It's Sorokin and
Yeah, they played fine. They played
they're
fine.
going to be good.
Moving on to the Rangers, who went 2-1 this week, losing to Carolina 3-2, as I already mentioned. Shesterkin, 36 of 39 in that game. They beat Carolina 2-1. Panarin had a goal and an assist, while Zibanejad had 2 assists, and then they beat.
Hate him.
It's okay.
I don't actually hate him.
I hate that he's on
he
the Rangers.
Scares me.
Yeah, I don't like that he's on the Rangers.
Scares me.
The Rangers then beat Florida 4-3 to finish off their week, while Lafreniere and Hedl each had a goal and an assist in that game, and yet another instance where the scoring was pretty spread out. Yeah, too spread out to call a top player, so they don't get one.
Verhage had such a nice goal against Florida.
Too bad they lost.
Well,
against the Rangers.
No, against Florida.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Patrick Kane's goal against Florida was
Patrick Kane's, what was it, 450th goal, I think? Yeah. Went off of Verhage.
Was a wicked deflection
into Florida's net, yeah.
Bobrovsky had no chance on. Like, nothing he could have done.
No. That sucks as for Verhage. You got to be like, oh, God damn it. All right, onto a Tankathon, a team that may be slightly messing it up. The Flyers went 3-0 this week.
Yeah, right?
Went 3-0. They fired Chuck Fletcher, and look at what they're doing.
There's a couple teams that could very much win Coach of the Year, the Jack Adams.
Yeah. You think you think Tortorella could win? I mean, he has a pretty bad team.
Philadelphia is dog shit.
They're pretty bad.
The fact that he's gotten them
I think we agreed.
Not be the worst team in the division, the league.
I think we agreed at the beginning of the year. We were like, John Tortorella actually might be a pretty good coach for Philly. Because, like, they've been floundering the last couple of years. Who was their coach before? Who cares? Well, I know it was Hackstall. It wasn't last year. It was the year before, I think. But I don't remember who their coach was last year. But, yeah, we were like, they're going to be bad because just, like, the track record, like, Giroux is gone.
Yep.
You know, Voracek is gone. But, I mean, Voracek was far past his expiration date anyway.
was gone.
Gostisbehere's gone. Again, questionable.
Hayes is in and out with injury.
Yeah, Kevin Hayes is like, whatever. They have a couple of good young players. You know, Travis Konechny is still very good.
Mm-hmm.
JVR is past his prime.
But still.
Their defense is, like, not as good as, like, you should think it should be. But, like, Tortorella came in, and he's got... I mean, they're not good, but they're not the worst team in the league.
He got Ristolainen playing better defense.
Which is insane.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you know. He's not going to win Coach of the Year.
No.
But.
Jumping back,
sure.
Talking about Verhage's goal against Florida.
Against his team.
Yes.
Yeah.
When Alex Tuck scored his second goal against the Devils, it was his third goal of the night.
That sucks.
He had 2 goals that game against the Devils and 1 goal.
And 1 goal for the Devils. Yeah. Well, it's really funny when that happens because just to parallel to soccer, I know in soccer there's a stat called an own goal.
Yes.
But in hockey, that doesn't exist.
Right. So it's the last person that touched the puck.
Yeah, they just give it to the last person that touched the puck. And I believe that is how the first goalie goal happened.
It is how the first... It is 100% how the first goalie goal.
The very first... I don't remember who it was. It was some, like, random guy
when we talked about Omar's goal, I meant to actually... Like, I actually looked up every single goalie goal.
Yeah, because there haven't been that many.
It was more than I thought.
It's over 10, but it's not. It's like 11 or 12.
Hackstall has 2.
Hextall. Yeah.
Hextall has 2. Brodeur has 3.
Something like that. Wah has 1. I know that.
Yeah.
Tristan Jarry tried for it twice the other night.
The first time was the goalie was the last one to touch it. For one of Brodor's, he was the last one to touch it.
Yeah.
His first goal, he shot.
He shot it in.
But
yeah.
There's
a couple that happened in the playoffs too. I think at least one.
Hextall's
Was
one.
it Hextall's?
Hextall and Brodor.
I was gonna say at least one of Brodor's was in the playoffs.
Hextall
which is
shot it in the same year that he scored in the regular season. He scored in the playoffs.
What a showboat!
Oh my god!
What a showboat! Really good goalie, terrible general manager. Anyway, let's get back to the Flyers. Speaking of Hextall, let's get back to the Flyers. They beat Florida 6-3, as Clay already mentioned, getting outshot by 20 shots.
Mm-hmm.
5 players for the Flyers had 2 points in this game.
Yeah.
That's too many for me to list, but 5 players, 2 points. Pretty impressive. They beat Minnesota in a shootout where they outshot Minnesota 34-24. Joel Farabee had a goal and an assist in that game, while Tony DeAngelo had 2 assists in that game.
Wow.
They then shut out Detroit 3-0
Yes,
to
they
end
did.
off the week. They were 7 for 7 on the penalty kill in that game. So that's pretty big.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot. That's 14 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Ish that you were on the penalty kill.
Almost a full period.
Yeah, almost a full period that you were on the penalty kill. They killed it all off. Lawton had a goal and an assist in that game, while Carter Hart, to the surprise of no one, made 29 saves for that shutout. There has been some chatter that maybe in the offseason they might try to move Carter Hart.
There's some talk about
They
that.
could certainly get a lot for him. And,
Billy Smith
was the very first goalie.
in 1979.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like I said, it's first of all, his name's Billy Smith.
And-
That could just be like a random name.
And then
He's a random goalie with a random ass name.
it took
I say that he might be in the Hall of Fame for all I know.
it took until 1987 for Hextall to become the first goalie to score on a direct shot, and it was a shorthanded goal. And later to become the first one with a shorthanded goal. So yeah, he's
It's insane. That's
Yeah.
equally as crazy that he has a shorthanded goal.
mm-hmm.
Like I said, really good goalie, terrible general manager. Joel Farabee is the Flyers' top player of the week with 2 goals and 3 assists. Speaking of bad general managers, let's move on to Pittsburgh. They went 2-2 this week. Woo!
Saved it. My bad.
It's empty. It doesn't matter. Clay just knocked over a bottle. It's okay. 2-2 this week, losing to Ottawa 2-1, where they outshot them. I would just like to remind everybody, 49-21, with a rookie goalie in his first game. Hate everything. They followed that up by beating Colorado 5-2, where they outshot Colorado. Pittsburgh dominated this game.
Yeah.
They outshot Colorado 45-30, which that's a lot of shots, just
Yep.
kind of in general. Jeff Carter, of all people, had 2 goals in this game. 2 legitimate goals
Yes.
in this game. Brian Rust and Jake Gensel each had a goal and an assist. Pittsburgh then lost to Dallas 3-2. No shame in that loss. Dallas is a very good team. I will say this: Pittsburgh maybe should have won every game this week. Just based on the play, they controlled a lot of the Dallas game too,
But
they just couldn't.
hockey is hockey.
Hockey is hockey. Sometimes controlling the game doesn't end up with you winning. That's just kind of how it is.
Yep.
So Pittsburgh lost to Dallas. Not much else to say about that.
Yep.
Pittsburgh then beat Washington 4-3, and let's. Oh, okay. Let's wait till.
We'll talk about Washington.
You could talk about Washington when we get to Washington. Casey DeSmith played very well in this game.
Dude's the only reason Pittsburgh was in this game.
Pittsburgh controlled a lot of this game.
They controlled it, but think about the first half of that first period.
Yeah.
Was Washington was on it.
And the third period. He
And-
made some big saves in the third as well.
DeSmith,
DeSmith was
some of those toe saves. that he-
31 of 34. Let's just get that
some
out
of
there.
those toe saves that he made against Ovechkin.
He had a very good game.
He had a very good game.
And I would like to give Mike Sullivan, I know you're listening. Maybe you just play Casey DeSmith for the next couple of weeks.
Jari's hurt.
Jari is hurt or something. I don't know what's wrong with Jari. He is not playing well. Casey DeSmith has like one good game, one bad game kind of feel.
Hey, but that gets you through the playoffs.
I will say Tristan Jari played well against Colorado. I don't remember who played against Dallas. They played fine too.
Depending on the order of his good game, bad game, that gets you a series.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. But hey, look at it this way. I would take Casey DeSmith through the entirety of the Rangers series last year, and Pittsburgh probably would have won that series.
Yeah.
And not Louis Domingue. This year it'll be Dustin Tokarski who plays for the Pittsburgh Penguins in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, Tokarski's more of an NHL goalie than Domingue is.
I would agree with
was.
that. Yes, I would agree with that. Yeah. Pittsburgh did go up 3-0 going into the third period, or it was 2-0 going into the third. Gensel scored very early in the third period to make it 3, and I was like, sick. They got this, and I forgot it's this year's Pittsburgh Penguins. And Washington, over the course of the third period, tied the game. First of all, I love and hate Alex Ovechkin. Well, I very much respect Alex Ovechkin. I hate when he scores against the Penguins because they drew a penalty halfway through when the game was 3-1. There was some penalty, and I saw they showed Ovechkin's reaction on the bench when they drew the penalty, and he like jumped up and was like, yeah, and then he grabbed his helmet out of the trainer's hand or whoever and put it on and scored 4 seconds into the power play.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. And with 8:02, I think he passed Gordie Howe, right?
Yeah, no, he's in.
Well, Pittsburgh honored him for passing
yeah.
Gordie Howe, and they threw up some graphic because I think it's the first game in Pittsburgh since that happened.
Gotcha. Okay.
So Pittsburgh showed him some respect. The crowd gave him a standing go, because you know the Pittsburgh fans have watched their teams play against Ovechkin long enough that it has moved from hate to hateful respect.
Yes, because
be like, all right, yeah,
because he only needs 73 more goals now.
Yeah, you're right. So they showed him respect. He gave a thumbs up and a peace sign.
Yeah.
Respect. Mad respect.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love and hate Alex Ovechkin. I hate when he scores against the Penguins.
Yeah.
Because he has a lot.
Yes, he has.
Hey, then we'll talk about it later. But then if Evgeny Malkin scored with like 2 minutes left in the game. And Clay will have a lot to he'll have some to say about that in just a second. But Pittsburgh is another one of these teams in the Metro that all of their scoring was kind of spread out this week, so they don't really get a top player either.
Nope.
Let's talk about Washington. Going 1-1-1 this week. Respectable.
Fine.
3 for 8 on the power play. They started off the week by losing to Columbus 7-6 in overtime. Oh, excuse me, that burp came out of nowhere. Is it Nick Jensen?
Yes.
Had 2 goals in this game, while Milano, who I forgot was on Washington, and Oshie. Oh, these burps are coming out of nowhere
strong.
for me. Milano and Oshie each had a goal and an assist in that game, but lost it in overtime. They then beat the crap out of Chicago 6-1.
Yes.
Where Ovechkin, Backstrom, and Carlson, I believe in his first game back.
First game back since the injury.
Had a goal and an assist. And look at John Carlson scoring a goal.
At Christmas.
For his first game back since having a fractured skull.
Yep.
John Carlson scored a goal. Good for him.
Here's the thing. Never had a concussion.
That's insane.
It's
so weird to me.
It's not.
What can give you a concussion? I know I don't fully understand it, but it's so weird to me what can give you a concussion and what can't.
So, a concussion is the bruising of the brain.
Yes.
So, a lot of the times it's when you stop and when you're moving
it's
forward.
Momentum, yeah.
And you stop suddenly, your brain is in a
it's still
fluid,
going, yeah.
so it keeps going and then it bruises itself against your skull.
Yep.
So, Carlson in this scenario was standing stationary.
Yeah.
So
and the puck just hit him in the head.
The puck caved in his skull, but it didn't.
Wow, that's a little dramatic. It didn't cave in his skull. It took off his ear
and fractured his skull. So
severed the temporal artery.
Yeah. So by caving his, yes, I'm being hyperbolic, but it still broke his brain.
Yes,
it broke his brain holder.
What a way to say skull.
Yes.
It broke his brain holder.
Yep. So yeah, so he never had a concussion, and he was talking about how that was like he had so many like hoops to jump through to get back into play, and he's just like, I feel great. This sucks that I can't like I'm not cleared.
Yeah. I honestly think the scariest part of that is the severed temporal artery.
So yeah, that's
because that just makes me think of brain bleed, which is like really terrifying.
So it's actually on the outside part.
I guess that makes sense.
So
it's so it's like up
it's
here.
like right here.
Yeah, it's right past here. Well, you guys can't see, but Clay can see. Yeah,
it's basically like right before your ear starts.
Yeah,
from what
it's like between your eyebrow and the top of your ear.
And yeah, he had to have his ear kind of reattached.
Yeah, and everybody thought that was the worst part of it.
To me, that is the worst part of it.
I think the temporal artery is the worst part of it, but I don't know. So anyway, and then they lost to Pittsburgh 4-3. Dylan Strome had a goal and an assist in that game.
Yes.
Go ahead. What happened on that last goal? Washington, by the way, not long before this goal had tied the game.
Washington was surging. Pittsburgh was reeling.
Pittsburgh is so bad at protecting leads. I don't understand how they're this bad at protecting.
Were they? They weren't on the power play or anything like that.
No,
it just
no.
felt.
It was 5-on-5.
It just felt like they were, just because of how Pittsburgh was playing.
Yeah,
and
it was
struggling.
It was 5-on-5. Yeah.
Anthony Mantha was starting to push it up the blue line. I don't know how he didn't see the 5'7" man.
5'7"? What are you talking about? He's like 6'3". Evgeny Malkin is huge.
I meant to say 6'7".
Oh, okay.
That's my bad.
Well, he's not 6'7", but he's a big man.
The giant of a man in all black.
On a completely white sheet of ice, yeah.
I don't know how he didn't see him trying to take the puck from him, but he just pretended that he wasn't there while he didn't have any defensive support behind him.
It was
steals it for the breakaway cleanly and just
took it right off of Mantha's stick and just put it right past Kemper.
I like watching the whole at the overview is just like outlet pass to the left to Ovechkin. Outlet pass.
Outlet pass to literally anybody.
Frick.
Yeah.
No, Ovechkin was completely open at that time.
Yeah.
Everyone else was pretty much covered.
Well, I will say after the game was over, Clay texted me and was like, "I hate Anthony Mantha." I was like, "Oh, was he the one that Malkin stole the puck off of?" And then I watched the replay earlier today, and I was like, "Oh, Clay was right.
Bad.
That was bad." Because I wasn't I was doing something else while I was watching that game, playing video games or something.
It's amazing that Vrana isn't even on Detroit anymore, and Detroit still won
Louis
that trade.
Now, yeah. Yeah, I know.
It's 1-for-1. Vrana missed an entire year due to injury and then NHL player assistance and
addiction or something.
Detroit still won the trade.
And then they traded him to St. Louis for something. And he's actually played pretty well for St. Louis so far.
He's played great for St. Louis.
Yeah, I watched the replay and I was like, yeah, that was really lazy.
He
just walking down the center of the ice and Malkin was like, thank you.
Yeah, and that's the most frustrating thing about Mantha is because he has all the tools to be when he's on, he is an amazing player, but he's just one of those players from just looking at it, not actually knowing a person or anything like that, that he just doesn't care sometimes.
He just doesn't think about it.
Or he doesn't try.
Yeah.
He just doesn't put in the effort. And
you'll meet those people in every walk of life, in every career, where you're like, you could be really good at your job. You just really need to try harder.
Try a little.
Just try a little bit, and you would be very good.
He tries 40% of the time.
That's not enough.
And that 40% of the time, he's amazing. But again, it's only 40%.
40% ain't enough.
And Bert mentioned how he is so frustrated about how Pittsburgh can't hold a lead. So it's 3-3. I'm kind of hopeful, but at the same back of my mind, because this entire season, it's like, I wonder how the Capitals blow this. And that's...
it was really funny. I was like, the Capitals are going to win this game in regulation. I was like, I know this is going to happen.
At no point did I think the Capitals were going to win. I was hoping super hard, which is what hurts the most.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just how are we going to blow this? Because they did it against Edmonton, I think, last year at this point. Because I remember talking about it on this podcast. So it was either at the beginning of the year this year or last year. But they did the same thing. They battled back hard. and they did something freaking stupid, and then
Well, someone did something stupid.
someone did something stupid, and then the Edmonton game was they were down like 3-1 or 4-1. They tied it 4-4, and then they still lost in regulation 5-4. And it's just so like I wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
I was furious.
Yeah.
Again,
I was furious, but I was not shocked.
I was not
Yeah.
shocked. Ugh.
Yeah, that's been me with Pittsburgh a lot of games this year. I'm like, I'm enraged right now, but I am not surprised.
No, not even surprised.
Yeah.
All right. I'm done. That's it.
Strome is Washington's top player with a goal and 4 assists this
He
week.
scored the tying goal against Pittsburgh.
He did. As for news, most of my news is either overarching or with the Central Division. So
All right.
We can move on.
So we'll talk about the Pacific. Anaheim's up first. They were 0-3. They were doing Anaheim things.
Hey, just duck things.
Just duck things. Quack, quack. 23, 40, and 10 on the season. That's 56 points. That's only 7th in the division.
Yeah, they're still better than San Jose.
The way San Jose has fallen off a cliff is impressive.
It really is, honestly.
It's
yeah.
just impressive. All right.
I mean, Anaheim's been bad the whole year.
But the Ducks.
Yeah.
1-5 loss to Calgary.
Nice.
Gibson played the entire game.
Poor boy.
3 for 5 on the penalty kill. They were outshot 43-20.
I'm just saying, send him home. Send him to Pittsburgh in the offseason.
43-20.
God.
Winnipeg. They lost 2-3. Dostal was in net.
At least that's closer.
Vetrano had one of their goals, and they were outshot 33-20.
Consistently getting 20.
Consistently getting 20.
Consistency, baby.
They break the mold on this St. Louis loss 6-3. Gibson in net for all 6 goals. 36-25.
Bless you.
Excuse me. 36-25. Their defense is so bad.
I feel so bad for John Gibson.
Dallas.
I want to see John Gibson on at least halfway decent team.
Dallas Eakins is such a bad coach.
Doesn't help either. Yeah.
He's so bad. 3 for 10 on the power play.
Although I do want him to somehow coach Dallas, the
my
team,
God.
at some point, just because it would be Dallas coaching Dallas.
But at that point, like, something clicks and he becomes...
And then they go 82-0.
Right,
somehow,
exactly.
yeah.
Like, that's what I want.
Dallas on Dallas crime.
Yep.
That would be if he was a bad
That's
coach.
that'd be if he was bad. 3 for 10 on the power play.
Okay.
Went 1 for 3, 1 for 2, and then 1 for 5.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And then 9 for 11 on the penalty kill.
That's
not
not
the
that bad
worst.
either.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not that bad.
So everything else was 5 on 5.
That's so funny. I have a team coming up in the Central where I'll read off their special team stats, and I'll be like, "How did they win?"
Oh, I got some because some of them are against my team, so we'll get
okay.
there.
Yeah.
All right. No, they don't get a top player.
Why?
No. All right. Calgary is up next. 2-2 this week. I actually didn't put how many games played they have left, and
Doesn't matter. Well, Calgary is
they're not
close, but they're not. They're close, but
they're not as
good.
close.
It's not good odds.
No, I don't think they'll do it. 33, 26, and 15,
I saw-
81 points. That's 5th in division, and again, that's why I didn't put it because I don't think they have a chance.
I saw a meme somebody made on the hockey subreddit that was like every Calgary fan right now, and it was the Randy Marsh from that one episode where he's
I
like,
hear no-
I didn't hear no bell when
Yeah.
he's like all beat to shit.
Right, but at the same time, yeah,
That's such a good episode
yeah,
of
he's all
South
beat to
Park.
shit, but like he actually
He wins in the end.
exactly,
Yeah.
and that Calgary's not going to do that.
That's with Bat Dad.
All right, they started their
Shout out
week
South Park.
by losing to the Kings 8-2. In the first period, the Kings had more goals, or not more goals, the same amount of goals as Calgary had shots. 4.
Man, oh man.
They got outshot 39-18 in the game. At no point was Calgary in it.
That's still like a fifth of those shots you let in the net, though.
Mm-hmm.
8-2. Good lord.
2 different goalies. Markstrom was 20 for 26, and then Vladar was 11 for 13. The goalies didn't help.
Nah.
So that means that's a defensive problem.
Yeah.
3 for 5 on that penalty kill. Doesn't help either. Next up, they took out any frustrations they had on Anaheim. Easy to do. 5-1.
Yeah, right. So, easy target in Anaheim.
2-5 on that power play. Tyler Toffoli had 3 assists in that game.
I forgot he was on Calgary.
And I already said the shooting, that was 43-20.
There's so many players in the NHL. Tyler Toffoli made me think of this. There's so many players in the NHL that played really good for a different team.
Yep.
And then signed with someone else. And then they, like, didn't play as well. Like, I'm sure
Tyler Toffoli's doing great.
He's having a fine year. But, like, you don't hear about him that much.
No, because you have,
on Calgary.
But...
And it's just, like, there's so many players like that, though. That have a really good year for, like, Chicago, and then they go to St. Louis, and they're just, like, okay for St. Louis. And then you never hear about them again.
Tyler Toffoli is the Flames' top points player this year.
Okay, fair enough. But I don't hear anything about him, is my point.
Because you have Huberdeau not living up to what he did in the previous year.
It's just... It's so interesting in the NHL. I feel like that happens more in the NHL than, like, other leagues, you know?
Yeah.
Where, like, somebody will play really good for Washington, and then they'll go to Minnesota
and
just be like, okay, and then everybody will forget about him, and then you're like, he's on Minnesota?
Right.
Yeah.
So Toffoli's played 74 games this year. He's got 31 goals and 36 assists. He's their top.
Holy shit, he's having a great year.
He's having a great year.
Yeah, goddamn.
Yeah, but he's...
Good for him. He has 30 goals?
Yes.
I haven't heard fucking anything about Tyler Toffoli this year.
But that's kind of the thing. Calgary's kind of underperforming.
You know what? I blame you for that.
First of all, he's just been consistent.
Clay got so defensive when I said that.
I've called out Toffoli a couple of times.
I have a bad memory, Clay.
That's fair.
And we drink during this.
Yes,
so
we do.
That does not help.
I want to open that last beer, but I will
you
not.
have to drive home. I can give you water.
No,
Open
we're
the
good.
last beer. No. Do it.
So you have the devil on my shoulder right now? All right. Then
I've been feeling like a lot of people's devil on the shoulder this week.
Going on,
at work.
They lost to Vegas 2-3.
Okay, that's no shame.
No
shame.
Thompson started the game. Quick finished the game.
Oh, Logan Thompson's. Wait. What?
Yep. Sorry, I fucked this up.
You wrote the goalies wrong.
I switched the goalies. I realized that.
Yeah.
When I was finishing this, Markstrom was in net. Sorry, my B.
That's okay.
29 for 32, 906.
That's not the first time you've done that with goalies specifically, which is really interesting.
It's really easy to do, especially when they're playing each other.
I got you.
It's really easy.
I got you.
Because all of Vegas was those
you
top
guys
players.
hear those demons downstairs? I can't.
Either way, Kadri had a goal. He's their top player. They outshot Vegas 44 for 32, so add another to outshooting the team by 10 and then losing. So that's 22 on the season.
It's such a weird stat to keep talking about, but it's a weird stat to have too, you know?
Some of these stats for Calgary, they are leading the league in 1-point losses. They are leading the league in outshooting an opponent by 10 and losing. So it's very much one of those things where you could look at it and say,
puck luck.
Hey, run this back again, and
they might win.
They might be
in first in the Pacific.
So
because how many games do you say? That's 24?
24.
Where they outshot by 10? Let's just say they win half of that.
Yeah.
They could be in first in the Pacific Division.
Right.
You know,
now there's also talk about discontent between the veterans and Sutters.
Specifically Kadri. I saw somebody tweet about Kadri and Sutter is like
I haven't seen
button heads.
I haven't seen anything about Kadri specifically.
I haven't seen anything
have
specific
seen
about like their
veterans.
argument, but like yeah,
I've seen veterans having issues with Sutter, but so maybe they decide to run this back, and maybe it goes great, and maybe it's worse than this year. So
maybe. I mean, on paper, Cavalry should have a pretty good team.
yes,
You know, they have Huberdeau, they have Kadri. On top of that, they have Elias Lindholm still, and
Lindholm is
Markstrom's obviously having a bad year, but
Lindholm is second on the team with 62 points.
that makes sense. Markstrom could bounce back next year, and they're right back in it.
Right.
So
It's very difficult. It's hard with Calgary because do you run this back? Because
I think so.
I think you could.
I think that these games. For how many games do you say 1 goal loss?
Like 22.
Like 20 something. Yeah, I think that deserves a run back. I think that deserves a run back.
I do too, but again, if there's already discontent between some of the players, that could just tank into next season. So
I guess that's true. Maybe you run it back with a different coach.
I don't know because it's Sutter's scheme right now.
Right.
So
right, but it worked really well last year.
Yes.
And I understand that you have the new additions of Huberdeau and Kadri. Maybe they're adjusting too.
And you can look at Huberdeau and say this is a historic drop off between points. You got 100 and some, and he has 50 now.
I know, but it's a completely different team that he's on, different scheme, different playing.
And I cut Huberdeau a lot of slack because of those reasons.
Yeah.
He had 10 years on Florida.
Yeah, he only played on Florida until this year.
Only played on Florida. So he had a lot of the guys on that team he knew. It's going to take time for him to learn those guys, and they stayed again.
He was playing with Barkov last year, and no shade at Kadri or Lindholm, but they're not Sasha Barkov.
Right.
He's a better all-around player than both of those guys. I think both Lindholm and Kadri are both great players, but they're not on the same level as Barkov either.
Lindholm is a pass-first guy.
Yeah.
So hell, if you had Huberdeau and Tkachuk and Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah.
Tkachuk is doing great points-wise. He's going to break 100.
Yep.
Even if that team doesn't make the playoffs.
He's still going to break 100, yeah.
He's still going to break 100. So you have a guy, if you had Huberdeau pass into Tkachuk, oh my God.
That'd be deadly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that'd be deadly.
But that's just
you don't have that.
It's not how it shaked out. So you need, if they got a guy who's a bit less passy.
Shoot firsty.
And put him with Huberdeau.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to look at.
They would take some time to, I know that this is completely non-reality, but you put Huberdeau, you get Pasternak and put him with Huberdeau.
Or a guy like Austin Matthews.
Oh.
You get Austin Matthews to center a line just with Huberdeau.
Because look at what he's doing with Marner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I none of that is reality, but yeah, that would be crazy to watch Huberdeau pass to Matthews,
Right. And Matthews is
you can't even see that in the Olympics because they're from two different countries.
So right now, Mitch Marner has 94 points.
Yeah.
You don't hear a lot about that.
Nope.
Because he's got 66 assists.
Yep. You do not hear about the assist guys. That was Joe Thornton's MO for the longest time. Is he would score 15 goals but have 80 assists.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But I also would say that the best players also adjust to who they're playing with.
Yes.
I mean, look at a guy like Crosby. He was at the beginning of his career a very pass first kind of guy, and then they were like, no, you should shoot more. And then when he was like, I worked on my shot this year, then he scored 50 goals.
Well, that's what everyone's waiting for Barzal.
Yes.
And the Islanders. He's such a pass-first guy. Shoot the goddamn puck.
Just adjust your game a little bit. Just shoot when you're open. Just shoot.
There's been so many times Barzal has the shot and he tries to make a pass, and it's
I think that is what differentiates between like a good player and like a Hall of Fame player.
Right.
Is like a Hall of Fame player will adjust their game to what's around them and be like, so say like Crosby and Ovechkin. You know, they've adjusted their games to a certain extent to not like drastically, but they've been able to like Crosby has been like, oh, okay, I'll take the shot when like I'm open.
Yep.
You know, whereas Ovechkin has been like, okay, I won't take the shot.
Yes.
When there's like a better option on the ice.
Like, yeah, Ovechkin's a very underrated passer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And both of those players are first ballot Hall of Famers. No one will argue that.
He's got over 400 assists.
Yeah. And like no one will ever say he's a pass first guy, but like especially in his later career years, like Ovechkin has passed more.
Yeah,
he's gotten more assists. And
he winds up for the shot.
Opposite with Crosby. Crosby has shot more and has scored more. You know, like so it's just one of those I just think the ability to kind of adjust your game to the team around you is what separates. Who the fuck are we talking about?
Which is why Tyler Toffoli's still in the league.
There we go. Okay. Good Lord.
We lost it.
We lost it there for a second.
All right, then we are moving on to
This
Edmonton.
is why you're listening, though, right? Right? The, like, 15 people that listen or whatever?
All right, Edmonton is up next with 2-0-1 on the week. They are 41-23-9.
Edmonton just keeps winning.
Yes, they do.
Most of their games.
91 points. They are third in the division right now. They beat San Jose in overtime. Oh, sorry. All of these games were overtime.
Oh.
San Jose, they beat in overtime. Arizona, they beat in overtime. And they lost to Vegas in overtime. Ekholm scored a goal in the San Jose win. I don't know why I wrote his name. This might have been like the game-winning goal. I think it was the game-winning goal. Then Draisaitl had 4 assists in the Arizona win.
Damn.
4 assists, so that's an assist on all of the goals.
Yeah.
And they also outshot Arizona 31-17.
Yes, they did. I will say though, that did go to overtime.
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy. You outshot Arizona by that much, and it still went to overtime.
Well, one, think of Arizona's goalies, and think of Edmonton's defense.
True. True.
Yeah,
but like. Your biggest trade at the deadline was to get Ekholm, and that was partly to prevent these things from happening. Yeah, I'm just saying.
And they won.
They did win, and they did win in the end.
So, last up is the overtime loss to Vegas. 3-4 overtime loss. Draisaitl had a goal and assist. They were 50% on both the power play and the penalty kill in that game.
Mm-hmm.
1 for 2. 3 for 9 on the power play, and then 4 for 6 on the penalty kill on the week.
Jeez.
Not good. Draisaitl is their top player of the week with 1 goal and 7 assists.
Yeah.
For a guy that's not known for assisting that much,
German boy is pretty good.
He's got 45 goals on the season.
That lederhosen wearing German boy is pretty good.
And I will say McKinnon hit 60 goals.
I really hope for the next Olympics the NHL players go.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think Germany might be an underrated team.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll win a medal, but I think they might be able to surprise a team.
You got Stutzle, you got Draisaitl.
That's what
you
I'm
have
saying.
Grubauer
That's
net.
what I'm saying.
Like, you
Past
have,
that, no idea.
You have Mo Seider on defense.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Man,
that's a halfway decent Olympic team because like you could make the tournament, the medal tournament with that team.
Yes,
with just those 4 guys, just based on who else would you be playing? Like you're not going to catch up to like, well, God only knows if Russia will be there based on what they're doing outside of hockey. But, like, you're not going to be like U.S. and Canada or Sweden and Finland. But, like...
You could make some upsets here and there.
Yeah, you could maybe beat one of those teams.
All right. Next up is Los Angeles. 3.
The Kings.
0.
3-0 this week. Look at them.
They are a good team.
They are.
43, 20, and 10 on the season. They have 96 points. And that's second in the division.
I don't know how many points away they are from clinching, but like, there's a lot of teams that'll probably be clinching this next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
They started off by beating Calgary 8-2, like I talked about. Phoenix Copley saved 16 for 18. It's not great, but you know.
Yeah.
Outshot them 39-18. Adrian Kempe had 2 goals and an assist. They were 2 for 5 on the power play, 3 for 4 on that penalty kill. Next up is a 4-1 win against Winnipeg with Korpisalo in net. Drew Doughty had a goal and an assist. And then St. Louis 7-6.
Yeah.
That
wild
back
game.
and forth.
Yeah.
This is the power play game that Bert was mentioning.
Yep.
Where
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. The Kings were 4 for 5 on the power play.
Insane. An insane mark.
4 for 5 on the power play. 0 for 2 on the penalty kill with a shorthanded goal.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What was this game?
This was one of those games that's just like defense was optional. The goalies were barely there. It's one of those games that's really fun to watch as a fan. But like after it's over, you look at, especially if you're a fan for one of those teams, you're like, boy, that was a bad game.
And think about this is not the first time that these kinds of games have happened for the Kings. Because remember, like Carl Peterson got kicked at, waived after one of these games against San Jose, or not San Jose, Seattle, where it was like 9-8. So if the Kings want to win the cup,
they can't be doing shit like that.
This game has got to go. Because again, this is like the 3rd or 4th time.
I mean, hey, power play wise, sick.
Oh, great. Penalty kill wise.
Otherwise, bad.
Penalty kill wise, what are you doing?
What do you think, Ruth?
So yeah, like,
good input.
This is like the 3rd or 4th time this season they've had one of these games.
Yeah, one of those track meet games. Yeah.
Those don't necessarily happen. Victor Arvidsson had 2 goals and assists in that game.
I mean, I've seen them happen in the playoffs, but
and they're rare.
It's not normal. Yeah.
You're normally not getting 5 penalty power plays.
No.
So yeah, 7 for 12 on the power play.
7 for 12 on the well, yeah, that St. Louis game helps a lot.
So they were 2 for 5, then 1 for 2, and then 4 for 5.
It's so funny when my dog flaps her ears. Weird. You can hear it. Yeah.
And then 8 for 12 on the penalty kill.
Yeah.
Adjusted 9 for 12, but still, like,
adjusted 9 for 12 ain't that bad.
No. Victor Arvidsson is their top player with 5 goals and 2 assists in those 3 games. Next up is San Jose.
God sake.
We've already said it.
Yeah.
Tied for worst team in the league. 0-2-1.
Are they officially tied for worst team in the league?
Yeah, they are. 0-2-1.
That's a shame for being tied.
Has Columbus won 20 games yet?
Pulling it up right now.
Because I know San Jose hasn't.
I feel like Columbus has 23 wins.
San Jose has 19.
Oh, they are tied.
Because
San Jose has so many loser points.
Yup.
Oh my God.
0-2-1 this week, so they added another one. 19, 39, and 15.
15? I think that's the most. No, Calgary also has 15.
Yeah, that's
Dallas has 14. I'm just looking at the standings.
I think
right
they
now.
lead Calgary. Another one of those bad stats they lead in is overtime losses. So
yeah, Calgary and San Jose are tied for the lead in overtime losses with 15, and the closest team behind them is Dallas with 14.
Yeah.
And then the closest after that, I think, is 10.
Right, it's crazy.
Or no, I'm sorry, it's 13 with Arizona.
All right, so Edmonton overtime loss 4-5. Erik Karlsson had 2 goals in that game. It wasn't enough. Reimer saved 47 of 52 shots. What's going on there? Edmonton outshot San Jose 47-32 in that game.
47-32. That's a lot of shots.
Sorry. I'm wrong.
Clay messed up his notes.
32 was right for shots that Edmonton took. 32 is right for the amount of shots San Jose took. Edmonton took 52 shots, not 42.
Oh my god. That's way worse.
So the fact that San Jose sends this to overtime is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, truly, yeah.
Carlson had 2 goals. Then they lost to Vancouver.
I feel like Carlson specifically might be the only reason they have all of those overtime losses.
Carlson is on pace for 100 points.
That's insane. He might win the Norris just because of that, which is really stupid. But
him or Hughes.
Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, Quinn Hughes, because he is.
That would be crazy for them to give the Norris to a team that isn't even close to making the playoffs.
Give me a second for a couple of things. Carlson, he has 90 points right now.
Yeah, he could hit 100 very easily.
Hughes. Quinn Hughes has 69 points.
Nice.
Give me his plus minus.
Is it bad?
No.
Oh.
For a team who is minus 25, Quinn Hughes is like plus 11.
Wow.
Something like that.
That's actually pretty impressive.
There was a big argument about it's not showing me right now, so if you could look up Quinn Hughes' plus minus.
Yeah, I'm on it.
There's a big argument about how like Quinn Hughes was a defensive liability for Vancouver. We'll get to that, but his plus minus, like for a team that is again like minus 25, his plus minus is very good. So he's not a defensive liability if his plus minus is above what the overall team's is.
To be fair, plus minus is kind of a dubious stat.
Yes, plus minus if overall is a dubious stat, but if you were individually looking at a player versus what the team is overall, I think it's a very good metric. Or not very good, but it is a better metric.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a worthless stat, but
right.
Like it can kind of be overinflated to a certain extent. He's plus 17.
He's plus 17 on a team whose overall plus minus
5 goals, 64 assists.
Yeah.
Look at him. Wow. He's a point per game player, actually.
If your team is minus 25 overall,
yeah,
and you're plus 17, you're not the problem.
This is just because I'm looking at his stats specifically. This is the most points he's had in a single season. He's already eclipsed last year, which was his high watermark.
He's doing
before.
great.
Yeah.
But there was recently a thing where he was getting criticized for his defensive efforts.
Yeah, I don't know if that's right. You know,
and that's what I'm saying.
To be super sure, you have to look at the other metrics like Corsi and stuff like that, and you have to take them all into account. And then there's the eye test kind of thing.
Yeah.
Metrics aren't perfect in hockey.
But like just saying that just because he's an offensive defenseman that he doesn't play good defense is not true.
No, because that can be not true for a lot of players. You know,
even Carlson, that's not necessarily true. Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Necessarily.
True. I don't think he's as bad at defense as for Carlson specifically as some people are like. Well,
Lindholm.
Not
Lindholm. Who's the dude on Anaheim right now? Klingberg. It's not Klingberg.
He's on Minnesota now, but yeah.
It's not Klingberg.
He's not Klingberg. You know, Klingberg was terrible. He was on a bad team, admittedly, but he was like a minus like 27 or something like that.
Even on Dallas, he was like, it's just like you put him.
No, he was not good. Yeah, he was not good.
You put a good defensive player next to him, and then you put Klingberg on.
But that's kind of how it goes a lot of the times. You know, like you have a really good offensive defenseman, and then you just put a really good defensive defenseman with him.
The best defensive for
the only player I can think of that nobody would ever question offense and defense on defensive wise is like Lindstrom.
Yeah.
Is like Nick Lindstrom.
But so for Quinn Hughes, the best defensive partner he's had all year was Luke Schenn.
That's saying a lot.
The best defensive partner he's had was
That
Luke
is
Schenn.
saying a lot.
So the fact that he's plus 17
I think that's impressive.
Yes.
That's impressive
All right.
enough.
But we're not talking about Vancouver.
Are we still talking about San Jose?
We're finishing up talking about San
Good
Jose.
Lord, we're just these 9.5% beers are sending us on some tangents.
Toasty. All right, yeah, the 2-7 loss against Vancouver. That's why this started.
There we go.
Reimer was 14 for 21, which is good for 6.66%.
Somebody pointed that out after he was like, "Oh, Jesus said I should hate
I
LGBTQ
shouldn't wear
people."
a jersey for Pride Night.
Yeah.
Whatever. This is another game where it's not fully special teams was like what's going on, but each team had a shorthanded goal.
That's pretty nuts. That doesn't happen a lot.
San Jose was over 2 on the power play, shorthanded goal against, but they were 5 for 5 on the penalty kill with a shorthanded goal. So yes,
So
here we are.
6 for 5, really.
Yep, 6 for 5, and then -1 for 2. It washes. Finishing up, we've talked about the Calgary game, 3 for 5 loss there. Erik Karlsson had 2 assists. They were -1 for 7 on the power play.
Oh my god.
-1 for 7, but 10 for 9 on the penalty kill.
I love the negative for a power
great.
play. It's such a funny thing to mention.
10 for 9 on the San Jose was perfect. Not even perfect. Better than perfect on the penalty kill
Oh yeah,
this
because
week.
they got that shorthanded goal.
What the hell?
Sometimes a really bad team just has like one specific part of the game that they're good
great
at.
at.
Yeah.
Erik Karlsson is their top player.
It's really funny that they're better at shorthanded than they are 5-on-5.
He's 2 goals, 3 assists.
That
Again,
makes
he's
sense,
got 90
yeah.
points on the
I
season.
mean, I hope he hits 100.
I do too.
That'd be cool. I think that'd be the first time a defenseman hit 100 in a while.
Yeah. All right, moving on to Seattle, 2-0-1. They are
Good.
40, 24.
I need them
and
to solidify that playoff spot. I want
88
Seattle to be in the playoffs.
Points. They're 4th overall. They're in the playoff spot, the first wild card spot. They beat Dallas 5-4 in overtime.
I desperately want to go to Seattle and go
with
to a game.
Brandon Tanev getting 2 goals and an assist in that game
We
against.
should go together.
It's such a big trip.
I know, but each of us soon will have a reason to go to Seattle.
Yes.
You to see your brother and me to see my friend.
Then they lost to Nashville in a shootout,
Yeah.
1-2.
Yeah.
Technically, Dackard was 24 for 25. ESPN didn't actually put up his stats. I had to look. So I don't have. I don't have a percentage for him.
I hate ESPN.
Dylan Sprong had the 1 goal.
He's having a good year for Seattle. He has 19 goals, I think.
Then it was a away at Nashville. 7-2 Nashville. They beat Nashville 7-2. So
Good.
After losing,
Because Nashville's trying to lose at this point.
after losing in that shootout, they beat him bad. They outshot him 39-16. Eli Tolvainen,
scoring on his former team in Nashville. Yeah.
twice.
Yeah.
Scoring twice on his former team. He had 1 goal in half the season and gets traded. He has 10 goals since.
He just didn't click in Nashville, but he has
Eli
clicked in
Skorovinen.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Jared McCann is their top player, 2 goals, 3 assists in that time.
Shout out Ron Hextall
Yep, doing great.
for not having that guy on the Penguins anymore.
Why would you have him on the Penguins?
Why would you want
Tolvainen,
him?
he's played. That's not right. That's his total.
Oh,
He's played.
you don't know how many games he's played for Seattle.
There's no way he's played 38 games for Seattle.
Maybe. He might have played
That's
38
probably
games for
right.
Seattle.
Played 38 games for Seattle. He's got 15 goals.
Baby.
He
Look at him
he-
clicking in Seattle.
Yeah, it was immediate too.
I hope Seattle doesn't become Vegas because people hate Vegas for various reasons at this point. I dislike them for how they treat players.
They seem to go out and get the new shiny piece.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
They want. It doesn't seem like.
I don't like that because at the end of the day, you got to remember players are people.
Yeah.
They're not just commodities, you know?
Right.
And I think people forget that a lot with sports, and that's not just hockey. That's any sport.
No, that's all sports.
And it's just they're people. You know that, right?
Yeah.
They can. they might see what you're saying.
Right.
And it might affect them. But, like, so I hope Seattle, I like what Seattle's doing. I like the team that they've put together. I'm really mad that Jared McCann and Brandon Tanev are both on Seattle when they could have still been on Pittsburgh. I mean, whoops, sorry. Eli Tolavainen, that was a really good addition from waivers, I think.
Yes,
I think Nashville waived him.
Sorry, it was waivers. I thought it was trade.
No, it was waivers. Nashville waived him.
38
and that
does make sense now.
That was after, like, this is the thing, like, you don't talk about, this is the thing in hockey, internet culture where you're like, oh my God, this prospect is the fucking best. He's coming over from Europe. He's going to light up the league. I saw so many Nashville fans say that about Tolavainen.
Yep.
And, like, he did okay for Nashville. But, like,
this year, 13 games for Nashville, he had 2 goals, 2 assists.
Okay.
And they waived him.
That's not even that bad, really. That's okay depth numbers, right? But, like, then they're like, okay, waive him, send him down to the minors. Maybe he can get more time. I mean, he's still a young guy. But then Seattle picks him up.
I didn't need you to ask plus minus. I needed to just not be an idiot.
Huh?
For Hughes.
You found it.
I
Otherwise,
just needed to not be an idiot. Yeah.
I gotcha. So then Tolavainen goes to Seattle, and he just gels with whatever their playing style is or the minutes he's getting, whatever. Mm-hmm. And, like, look, he's got 15 goals with Seattle, and then Nashville's just, like, sitting there holding their dick, like,
he's got 25. He's got 25 points in 38 games.
That's pretty good.
15 points.
That's pretty
assists.
good.
Yep.
That's pretty good, you know.
All right. Finished up with Seattle because, Jared McCann is their top player, 2 goals, 3 assists. I might have already said that.
Shout out to Ron Hextall.
Finishing up with Vancouver, 3-1.
Hey,
that traditional
late season Vancouver giving your fans hope.
Yep. 34 and 5.
That's not even that bad of a record.
73 points. That's 6th in the division. They started by losing to Vegas 3-4. Demko in net there. JT Miller 1 goal and 2 assists.
I desperately want Vancouver to be good.
Yeah,
it's just because, like, they were one of the teams outside of Pittsburgh that I, like, glommed onto for some reason. Just because I like the name of their city, Vancouver. I was like, that's a cool name.
And their aesthetic, their
logo is an orca breaking through the ice. You know, like,
plus that the flying skate is in black is
and
sick.
It's just like I desperately want them to be good.
Then they beat San Jose 7-2.
Yay!
Already talked about their shots were pretty much the same, but Demko in net there. Connor Garland 1 goal, 1 assist in that game. Then they beat Dallas 3-1. Demko was 25 for 26 there.
That's a pretty impressive win, honestly.
It was. Yeah. Brock Besser gets the game winner at 1 goal. 4 for 4 in that penalty kill with a shorthanded goal. They have overtaken, or they're either overtaken or tied with Edmonton for most shorthanded goals.
That's crazy.
Season. They were.
Hold on, I'll look it up.
They were right there when I talked about it 2 weeks ago, and
they scored 2 more. Right. Yeah, you're right.
They scored 2 more this week. Problem is, they gave up 2 this week as well. Then they beat Chicago 4-2. Delia was in net there, 29 for 31 save, 4.935 save percentage. Elias Pettersson had 2 goals in that game. They were 13 for 13 on the penalty kill. Perfect on the penalty kill. Actually, 15 for 13.
Oh, because they got those 2 shorthanded goals.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the best Vancouver's ever done all season.
That's insane.
Again, they are historically bad on the penalty kill between this season and last season.
That's so funny.
Trocheck has actually turned some things around for this team.
Yeah, I do. Right? Yeah.
Crazy. JT Miller is their top player with 3 goals and 4 assists.
Sorry, I'm trying to look up their shorthanded goals thing that you were saying before.
NHL.com.
Yeah.
Last up is Vegas. Vegas went 3-0 this week. Perfect. 46, 21, and 6, 98 points, first in the division, beating Vancouver 3-4 with Jonathan Quick in net. Pavel Dorofeyev had the game-winning goal in that game.
I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you. Vancouver is in first place with shorthanded goals.
They aren't tied. They took it.
Nope.
All right, cool.
They are 14 on the season,
Yep.
ahead of Edmonton with 13.
Gotcha. There it is. Because last I looked at, they both had 12.
Nope.
And
This week, Vancouver overtook it. They're in first place.
Yes. Okay. It was that one on Sunday.
Yeah.
Nope. Saturday.
Whatever.
Saturday.
Whenever it was.
Yep. Saturday.
Look, we've been drinking a bunch of 9.5 beers.
Pavel Dorofeyev had the game-winning goal
2.5
against
of those 9.5.
Vancouver. Then they beat Calgary 3-2. Gotta go back to Calgary. Thompson was in net, going 37 for 39, but then Quick finished the game, going 5 for 5.
Why? Did Thompson get hurt?
Yes.
Oh, good.
He came back for a game and now he's hurt again.
That sucks.
Amadio had the game-winning goal in that game. I believe it's Michael Amadio. I think it's Michael.
Sure.
They were outshot by Calgary 44-32. I already mentioned that. They finished the week by beating Edmonton in overtime again. Pacific on Pacific violence. Talked about all this. Brossoit was in net here. Jack Eichel had 1 goal and 2 assists.
He's turned it up since a few weeks ago when everybody was like,
he's
bad.
When he got called out, he started back up. Maybe
they should just call him out every couple of weeks.
Power play was 1 for 7. Fine, whatever.
That's okay.
Penalty kill was 3 for 6.
Oh.
1 for 2 all 3 games.
Yeah.
Jack Eichel is their top scoring player with 1 goal and 3 assists. Much less news here compared to the Atlantic. Chris Tanev for Calgary is day-to-day with an upper body. He missed the last game of this week, so we'll see what he does going forward. Blake Lizotte for the Kings got suspended for 1 game for a cross-check during the Edmonton game. It should have been 2. If you think AJ Greer should have been 2,
Lizotte should have been 2 as
Lizotte
well.
should have been 3.
I didn't see a replay of that. Was it that bad?
Lizotte went out of it. Lizotte was skating to his bench. Morrissey stepped in front and Lizotte cross-checked him in the face. There was no back and forth beforehand. He went out of his way to cross-check him in the face.
I see.
And then Appleton jumped him, which I respect Appleton for. Because
his name makes me laugh.
You gotta stand up for your guy.
There's Apple in it.
Yeah,
no, respect.
But yeah, what the hell is that?
It's just one of those weird brain farts where you're like, I'm gonna attack this guy.
Remember that Calgary player that cross-checked the ref?
Jay Bouwmeester? Yes, yeah. I do remember that.
Was it Jay Bouwmeester?
It was. Well, they argued that Jay Bouwmeester was out of it.
Oh, he was totally concussed.
And he was skating to the bench. And if you watch the video, I kind of see where they're coming from, where he didn't know what was going on, and the ref kind of just got in his way, and he cross-checked the ref. Yep. And he was suspended for
10 games.
10 games. I think it maybe got knocked down to no, was it not?
It was not. It was 10 games the entire time.
He was concussed for that entire time anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yep. But suspension wise, it doesn't matter. But
no, it does, yeah. Difference is you don't get paid.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I thought of that exact same thing because that was what happened.
Yeah.
He was going to the bench because he was hurt, and
the ref
he just didn't realize it was a referee in front of him, and he just cross-checked him.
Yep.
And watching the video back, you're like,
oh yeah. Well, you're looking at it, and it's just oh, he's not in the right mind.
And now it's he doesn't know what he's doing.
All right. Next up is San Jose. Johnson is day-to-day with an undisclosed injury. He's missed a game this week, so we'll see where he goes.
Okay.
For Vancouver, Noah Juulsen day-to-day with a lower body. I don't know who he is.
I've heard that name before.
Again,
or I've seen that name before.
He's missed a couple of games. For Vancouver, Alec Martinez, Logan Thompson,
Vegas.
Riley Smith.
Vegas. You said Vancouver.
I said Vancouver. You're right. For Vegas, Martinez, Thompson, and Smith are all out for an undisclosed amount of time for undisclosed reasons, except for Martinez, which are personal, but still undisclosed.
That's no good.
Who knows what?
Oh, God, I hope Thompson is not...
hurt again?
I hope it's not serious, because he's missed like a good chunk of this year.
Massive chunk of this year.
And before he got injured, he was playing pretty well for Vegas, too.
He's always played pretty well for Vegas.
Especially getting this close to the playoffs. I hope it's nothing serious. All right, let's finish things off with the Central Division, and we're starting with the tank part of this division.
Chicago?
Arizona.
Okay, fine.
Going 0-2-1 this week. They lost to Winnipeg 2-1. Nothing else to say about that game. They lost to Edmonton in overtime 4-3, as Clay already mentioned. Clayton Keller had 2 goals in that game, while Schmaltz had 2 assists.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to Colorado 3-1, where they were outshot 30-18 in that game. That's about it to say about that. And then they lost to Colorado again, this time in a shootout 4-3.
Yep.
So a little bit more respectful. But hey, I'm sorry. They went 0-2-2. This is where I messed up with my notes.
Gotcha.
My bad for that. You would say, they didn't win a game this week, so clearly they don't have a top player.
Clayton Keller.
Clayton Keller had 4 goals and an assist this week.
He became the top single-season points getter for Arizona.
He's having a really good year.
Since they moved to Arizona.
Yeah, he's having a very good year for Arizona.
I think he's their first 30-goal scorer since they moved.
Well, I don't know about that.
I keep going. I'll look it up.
Okay, you look it up. Look up how many points Clayton Keller has, too. Moving on to Chicago. Speaking of tank, went 0-4 this week, losing to Colorado 5-0.
Clayton Keller has 80 points, 36
80
goals.
points. Okay, I couldn't remember if it was 80 or 90 points.
He's the highest points getter in a single season. The goals I don't know about. Continue. Sorry.
Okay. Losing to Colorado, Chicago lost to Colorado 5-0 to begin off their week. Then they lost, to Washington 6-1. Then they lost to Minnesota 3-1.
Woo.
And then they lost to Vancouver 4-2.
Yep.
Let's not talk about Colorado anymore.
Nope.
They do not have a top player. Or I'm sorry, Chicago. Colorado is up next. They went 3-1 this week. They were 5 for 10 on the power play this week.
5 for 10.
They beat Chicago, as I just mentioned, 5-0 in their first game of the week. Malgin had 2 goals and an assist in that game, while Mikko Rantanen had a goal and assist, and Georgiev got the shutout with 27 saves. They lost to Pittsburgh 5-2, where Pittsburgh controlled most of this game.
Mm-hmm.
JT Compher had a goal and an assist in this game, so he factored in on both goals. Colorado beat Arizona, as I just mentioned, 3-1, where Makar had a goal and 2 assists. He factored in on all 3 goals in this game, while McKinnon had a goal and 2 assists as well, and Nichushkin had 2 assists. So it was 3 guys doing all of the scoring and or assisting in that game.
Yeah.
For Colorado. And then they beat Arizona 4-3 in a shootout where Mikko Rantanen had a goal and an assist, and Nichushkin had the only shootout goal in the 14th round
Jesus Christ.
of the shootout. Very long shootout.
That is crazy.
Nichushkin and McKinnon each had a goal and 4 assists on this week, for tied for being their top player. Dallas is up next, going 1-1. Losing to Seattle 5-4 in overtime. As Clay already mentioned, Jamie Benn had a goal and 2 assists, while Pavelski and Heiskanen each had a goal and an assist. Dallas then beat Pittsburgh 3-2, where Jason Robertson had 2 assists in that game. And then they lost to Vancouver to finish off the week 3-1.
Yep.
Jamie Benn is their top player of the week with 2 goals and 2 assists. Page flip. Minnesota 0-1 on the week. They beat New Jersey 2-1 in overtime to begin the week. Matthew Boldy had the overtime game winner, losing to Philadelphia next up in a shootout 5-4. Matthew Boldy again had 2 goals in that game, while Joel Eriksson Ek had 2 assists. Minnesota beat Chicago to finish off the week 3-1. 3 of these goals in this game, 3 of the 4 goals were unassisted.
Wow.
2 by Minnesota, 1 by Chicago.
Wow.
That's so many.
Protect the puck.
Both teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. One of them was by Ryan Reeves.
That's crazy.
Which is insane.
He scored his, 5th goal of the season?
Something like that, yeah. And I just remember seeing that in the stat line. But it's so weird to have so many unassisted goals.
Yeah.
Yeah. That means somebody turned it over to that guy and they scored immediately.
Which is Malkin, unassisted.
Bringing it back to Washington. Gustafsson is actually Minnesota's top player of the week, going 2-0. So he played 2 of the 3 games. 0.96 goals against and a .972 save percentage. What a week by Gustafsson. What's really funny about Minnesota, both of those goalies are from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Marc-Andre Fleury and Philip Gustafsson were both drafted by Pittsburgh.
Yeah. If only you kept them.
Right. Nashville is up next, going 2-2. They were 11 for 15 on the penalty kill this week.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
They beat Buffalo 7-3 to begin the week, where
only good game.
even Jelista, who I think I mentioned last week too, who has a name that I'm not 100% sure I'm saying correctly, had 2 goals and 2 assists in this game.
Wow, good for him.
Going along with Harvey Pinard with like, who is that guy that is scoring these points?
Scoring.
Yeah. Matt Duchene had 2 goals and an assist in that game, while 3 other players for Nashville had 2 points in that game. They beat Seattle next up in a shootout 2-1, where Duchene and Tomasino scored in the shootout.
Yep.
They lost to Seattle 7-2,
Yep.
where they were outshot 39-16. I just wrote Tomasino. I did not write what he did in that game.
I did that with Heckholm.
While Duchene and Barry each had a goal and an assist in that game. And then they lost to Toronto 3-2 to finish off their week. Tyson Barrie, who got traded to Nashville at the trade deadline, had 2 goals and 4 assists this week. St. Louis, who is the team I talked about, went 2-1-1 and were 8 for 14 on the penalty kill.
Jesus Christ.
Which really begs the question, how did they win any games? And then you realize that 4 of those power play goals were in the LA game.
Yep, which they didn't win.
They did not win.
Which makes sense.
But it was a closer game than you might think, as we already went over. They lost to Detroit to begin their week, 3-2 in a shootout. Not much else to say for St. Louis in that game. They then beat Detroit 4-3 in regulation, where Robert Bortuzzo, of all players, had 2 assists in that game. St. Louis then went on to beat Anaheim 6-3, where they outshot Anaheim 36-25, as I believe Clay already mentioned.
Yes, they did.
Braden Shen and Kasperi Kapanen, who was playing very well for St. Louis.
Yes, he is.
Had 2 goals and an assist each in that game.
Wow.
Well, Colton Parayko had 3 assists, and 3 other players had 2 points for St. Louis in that game.
Let's talk about how Jacob Vrana is just scoring.
Yeah, Jacob Vrana and Kasperi Kapanen went to St. Louis, and all of a sudden are just like playing. You know what? Throw Sammy Blais in there too.
Yep.
They just like went back to either went to St. Louis for the first time, or in Sammy Blais went back to St. Louis and have just been playing way better for the teams than they were playing before. And their St. Louis's final game of the week was the game we already spoke about, where they lost to LA 7-6, where they were 1 for 5 on the penalty kill. Robert Thomas
2 for 2 on the power play.
I did not write that down. 2 for 2 on the power play. Robert Thomas and Sammy Blais each had 2 assists in this game, while Jordan Kyrou had 2 goals, and Buchnevich and Falk each had a goal and an assist. Shen and Blais are their top players of the week. Shen having 3 goals and 3 assists, while Blais had 2 goals and 4 assists, both each having 6 points. Weird.
Yeah.
Weird week for St. Louis.
2 for 2 on the power play, but gave up a shorthanded goal.
So 1 for 2.
Yeah.
Winnipeg is our final team that we're talking about this week, going 2-1, beating Arizona 2-1 to begin off their week, then beating Anaheim 3-2, where they outshot Anaheim 33-20, as Clay already mentioned. Lowry had a goal and an assist for Winnipeg in that game, and then losing to LA 4-1 to finish off their week.
Yeah.
But hey, Connor Hellebuck played pretty well this week,
He's the only one who played pretty well.
Sure. Playing all 3 games, going 2-1 with a 2.00 goals against and a .923 save percentage.
There's rumors that the coach is having trouble motivating the veterans in Winnipeg's locker
Oh, no
room.
shit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, Winnipeg is in this weird spot where they, well, I guess it's not that weird, but they had a really good beginning of the year, and then they've kind of been like just kind of treading water for the rest of the season, and they have a playoff spot, but
Nashville has games in hand,
That's
and they're
true.
only like 4 points out max.
But like you would think Nashville should be trying to lose.
But Nashville's also kind of losing with how they did this week, so we'll see.
That's true.
We'll see what happens in these last couple of games, but it's
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about the West because it's pretty solid. We'll see what happens.
We'll
with
see. Nashville's the only team that's kind of in spitting distance of the playoff spot
and
right now.
they're
but
playing like crap, but so is Winnipeg.
That's true.
So
That's true. Winnipeg is not playing
if
well.
one-
This week, notwithstanding, Winnipeg's not playing well.
if
either.
one team picks it up and the other one doesn't, that's the switch.
Yeah.
Or in the case of Nashville and Winnipeg, or Winnipeg, not the switch because they'll keep the spot. This episode has already run long, but what's 2 more minutes since we've been talking about goalie goals?
I have news to talk about.
Oh shit! All right, continue. My bad.
How dare you?
Who cares?
Colorado signed Jared Bednar to a new 3-year contract. That is their coach, by the way.
Yes, it's good.
Much deserved
It's
for
deserved.
him.
They kept with him when they sucked.
That's true. Yeah, he coached them when they had historically their worst year ever.
When they were
and
rebuilding.
then like 2 years later, they won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
So, you know.
It's like 5 years later or whatever.
Was it?
Yeah,
Was
there was time.
Was there time? I don't. Time is an illusion. Time is a construct of the human mind. Fanatics is taking over for Adidas
Fucker, I forgot
for
about this.
jerseys and whatever.
Jesus Christ.
On a 10-year deal, I believe, starting next year, much to the chagrin of everyone, including Clay. I've never actually. I don't think I've ever bought anything from Fanatics, but I have heard the quality is pretty poor.
My Wilson jersey is a Fanatics jersey, and the nameplate for Wilson started peeling off back right corner, and
I've heard that a lot about.
I sewed it back
jerseys,
on.
Yeah.
I sewed the entire I took white thread and I sewed the entire thing back on, so it looks fine.
But you shouldn't have to do that.
No, I should not, especially when you pay like $120 for a jersey.
I will say I think it would be really funny if the patches on the actual jerseys while they're playing start to fall off.
So from what I saw, that the factory that the jerseys,
I have to assume that they will do
the
better with on ice stuff.
The on ice product, the factory is not changing from the Adidas factory that's going on right now.
Okay, then
So
that
it's
won't
just
change. But
the
like
on ice product will not
the
change.
jerseys
It's a
people
retail.
buy, from retail will probably be
And it's
worse.
not just the jerseys, because Fanatics.
I'll be
Fanatics
totally
owns the
honest.
hat market. They own Fanatics. Basically, has a monopoly on everything. So
Yeah.
a lot of these team stores that you go to are Fanatics.
I'll be totally honest. I think owning jerseys is overrated. I will say, I own 2 jerseys. I own a Lemieux jersey and I own a Kessel jersey. I never wear them though.
Growing, since I've gotten older,
Yeah.
less interested in getting jerseys
me
and
too.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
me too.
But at the same time, Washington just unveiled their cherry blossoms warm-up jerseys. Oh my god, it's so sick! It's so sick.
Krieger-son, my cherry blossoms.
It's not gonna I'm not gonna get it.
Yeah.
But
Well, apparently
because it's also only available in the team
the
store.
reverse retros are not going to be a thing
They're done.
anymore
No,
either.
they were already
because that was an Adidas thing, not a Fanatics thing.
Right, and that's
So
they were already limited quality.
Yeah.
Like once they sold out, they sold out. That
looking
was
at
it.
looking at you, Tampa Bay,
Which was
limited quality.
Stupid.
So yeah, not just Clay is mad about that. Most of the hockey fandom is kind of
I have
about
I have
that.
a couple hats. I like it's
Hats are like whatever though. Like,
but they're still
hats don't get as much wear and tear as like a jersey does,
No.
right? So
I mean, even jerseys shouldn't get that much wear and tear if you're just wearing them like out for a day.
I guess that's true.
You're not
true.
rolling
Yeah.
around in anything.
Yeah, you shouldn't be wearing a jersey all the time unless you're people in Pittsburgh going to church. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe now that Fanatics is like the creator of jerseys for the NHL, maybe their quality will get better.
I doubt.
But I would doubt it. There's more Pride Night debacles going on. Chicago canceled their Pride Night they said to quote unquote protect. That does look pretty cool.
Right?
Yeah, that
Okay.
does look pretty cool, I will say. He showed me the cherry blossom jersey. Chicago canceled their Pride Night, in their words, to protect their Russian players because Russia is crazy and they enacted an anti-LGBTQ
I will.
law in their country.
Yes,
but-
yes. I will put an asterisk. They didn't actually. Chicago, in this sense, did not consult the Russian players before doing it. So
Okay, fair
they're
enough.
using them as a scapegoat.
So they're just using them as a scapegoat. Meanwhile, mad props to Florida
Yep.
because Florida was like, "Fuck you guys, we're doing it anyway."
Miami. Yep. We're doing it anyway.
So props to them.
especially in a state that's been very much anti-LGBTQ right
I mean,
now.
also shout out to Disney because they hosted a
Yep.
LGBTQ summit there. Just to put a middle. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Get fucked, Ron DeSantis.
But
Anyway, the Stahl brothers, two of which are on Florida,
Eric and
Eric and Mark.
Martin. Yep.
Martin.
Yeah.
Came out with a statement that they were like, we believe in Christianity or whatever, so that means we have to be mean to LGBTQ people
So they're not
or
gonna-
whatever
so-
dumb shit that they
So they
said.
didn't want to wear it.
I'm over players making this
Well,
about them.
Stop.
Okay.
One, we said that last episode. It still tracks.
I don't care.
It's still
I'm
tracks.
going to reiterate it.
Our presence is known. We're going to bring it up. Two, Eric Stahl is already worn a Pride jersey.
Oh, that's true as well.
And when they brought that,
I think more than once.
yeah, and when a reporter questioned him on that, he's like, "No, I've never worn a Pride jersey," and they showed him in the Pride jersey on Montreal. There we go.
Oh, that's so weird. Okay, let's move on from that. You guys understand where our stance is from that. My stance is never. I don't think Clay's
But
stance
it's-
is never going to change from that. But like,
But it's funny that they show it in his face. That
And
it's
you know
like,
what?
Hey, you've worn the Pride jersey. Why is it a problem now?
you know
Shut the hell
what
up.
is extra embarrassing for those guys, for Eric and Mark Stahl? Those Florida Pride jerseys are fucking
so
sick.
sick.
They're awesome. They look so good.
Also, it's one of those things. Like, oh man, this Provorov thing won't be anything. There won't
It's
be.
turned into a whole
There
fucking
won't be
thing.
a snowball effect. Whatever. For Buffalo, Ilya Lyubushkin has
Yes.
opted out,
Yeah,
and
he's-
but for him, he straight up said this Russian law gives him pause.
If they just said that, I would be like, okay, fair.
Cool.
You know, like
Yes.
you don't want yourself or your family prosecuted in Russia. I get that.
Because at the start of the
You
season,
can't. Yeah,
Ivan Fedorov for Philadelphia got drugged and dragged to a.
that's right. I get it. I get it for them. I totally get it.
Sent to Siberia, and then Kirill
We will never see that guy again, unfortunately.
Kaprizov. He had a hell
Yeah.
of a time
Yeah.
getting out of Russia. So by
Russia is a whole can
so
of
by
worms right
just
now.
saying, hey, with this law right now, I feel weird.
I almost want to give a pass to a lot of the Russian players. Not Provorov, because he was like, I'm going to pretend like Christianity is the excuse here. But I'm going to give a pass to a lot of the Russian players. But I will also say, Evgeny Malkin wore a Pride jersey with no issue at all.
right.
But
But
maybe a lot of his family's in the United States.
But
though,
he's
so.
a bigger star Then
That's
Ilya
true.
Lyubushkin.
And so is Ovechkin.
Yes.
Ovechkin is also worn a pride jersey. So let's move on from this.
Washington Caps actually don't do pride jerseys.
Oh, really?
Never done a pride jersey. They've done pride nights, but have never had a jersey.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Let's move past this. You guys understand our standing on this, but I just felt like it needed to be said again, and I will say it over and over again.
You best believe I was going to bring up the fact that Eric had already worn a pride jersey in his career. There was no way I wasn't going to bring that up.
So embarrassing for him as well.
The fact that he denied it too.
I know. Let's move on. Brian Boyle has announced his official retirement from the NHL.
Yep.
He had a long career. I will not say illustrious, but he was a good defensive forward. He played on a lot of teams. Yeah. He had a good career.
Yep.
You know, he's not going to make the Hall of Fame, but Brian Boyle was a good player. A long 10-year plus career, 15 probably.
Yep.
Good guy. Good career. So, hope he has a happy retirement. Yes. Arizona's co-owner. Yes.
I will put an asterisk for co-owner, but let's talk about why.
Well,
he got arrested.
He is a partial owner in the Arizona Coyotes. What is the asterisk? He's not the main owner.
Not anymore. He was a co-owner. He did share like 95% of his shares, so he's like 5%.
Okay, but he's still like a partial owner.
He was much bigger previously,
but not anymore. So to a lesser extent. Anyway,
arrested.
Andrew Barraway, the partial owner of the Arizona Coyotes, got arrested for felony strangulation charges.
Yeah, that's bad. He's not going to be an owner anymore. He's not going to be involved in the NHL.
Go to jail.
He's probably not going to be involved in the NHL anymore.
Yeah, so I saw that and I was like, oh, fuck.
I saw that and then I looked into it more. It's like, oh, he's not
the main owner.
He was years ago.
Not anymore.
But yes, that's.
I forget the guy whose name. I forget the guy's name.
He sold his shares to
who is
that
the
guy.
main owner for Arizona, but
woof.
But anyway, this
every time you think Arizona's doing a little bit better.
I know, right? I know. This episode has gone on many tangents.
Way too long. I'm not going to talk about goalies because I did forget about news.
You can go ahead and blame this on the 9.5% cream team beer that we were drinking. Very good, very easy to drink. I will say.
Blame it on the
really feeling it at this point. But thank you guys for listening to this whole tangent of an episode.
This slurring of
at the end of an episode. You can find us wherever podcasts are found. Please give us a rate, review, subscribe wherever applicable. As far as I know, it is kind of important.
We're sorry.
I'm not. Tell your friends, tell your family, because we're talking pucks out here.
Talking pucks.
We'll see you next week at the same puck time.
Same puck players.
Thank you and goodbye.